But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
Which is the first commandment of all?
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might, and with all thy strength. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
Master, thou hast said the truth. There is one God, and none other but He. And to love Him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the soul, and with all the strength, and to love his neighbor as himself, is more than all the whole burnt offerings and sacrifices.
Thou art not far from the kingdom of God.
Yo, hearts in chat right now, flames in chat right now for all the reactors out there, and in particular Larry 1K who's here with us right now. So, bro, let's make something happen, man. What's the plan? You want to throw me some words?
I got 3 words. I got 3 words for you, man.
Yes.
3 words.
Yes. What you got, bro?
All right. So my first word, I want to put this word together, but it's Jesus Christ. It's Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. All right. Hell yeah. Yep.
First word. All right. The second word, we're gonna go with Lucifer.
Lucifer. All right. We got a theme going.
Lucifer.
All right. Yep.
Yes, sir. The last word we're gonna go with is rapture.
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 Which, like, what does that mean exactly? Like, of course, I'm familiar with that word, but like, what is the rapture?
Like, I guess, like, you know, in biblical terms, like when Jesus, because I'm a Christian, when Jesus come back and like bring his people, so like I guess like grab or gather up.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, dope. We got this, man. Jesus Christ, Lucifer, and the rapture, y'all. We about to do it. Here we go. You ready?
Let's go. I'm ready, man.
All right, let's go. Larry 1K is here. Yo, come on, yeah, come on, yeah, come on, yeah, come on, hey. When they hear him rhyme, they like, he's just nice. Rappers hear me spitting, they be yelling, Jesus Christ. H-Mac never stop, you'll be taking a loss. Rappers got me pissed off, man, they got me so cross. Hey, Mac coming through since my 2nd grade recital. I told you that my rhyme book is something like a Bible. H-Mac, I be taking rappers into churches, recording in the pews while I'm dropping rhyme verses. Yeah, this is biblical, all these rappers miserable. Every time I rhyme, I'm about to paint the visual, doing something different. Here's what I'm saying, rappers dropping to their knees right now and straight praying, like, please Lord above, help bring me love, cause this dude named Mac, well, when push comes to shove, I'm pretty sure he's about to go harder than the rest. Please Lord help me, he's putting me through a test. I don't know if there's a way that I can survive, cause compared to all these rappers, man, he got more drive, plus he got more practice and he got more bars, plus his lyrics like my life right now, cause they hard. Someone help me find a path through this. I don't know what I can do, help me, Judas. Mac moving with the movement, y'all know I'ma crush it. I leave you flustered every single time I bust it. Now, listen, I be coming off top with the truest words. I spit the fire and my shit is flaming hot like Lucifer. Yeah, every time I'm rapping, I'ma make you panic. Yo, all my bars sound dark, satanic. Listen, I will excel from the place where I dwell. I'm with Big L right now, recording down in hell. No doubt, y'all know I'ma kick these rhymes. Shout to Big L, repping from the 139. Yeah, now I wouldn't say that myself unless Big L told us he would go there himself. So listen, I'm about to be there with him in the flames. Me and Big L straight spitting off the brain. Now, I do this forever, y'all know I'm hype. I be feeling like Lucifer, my dome got spikes. I got the tail as well and I grip the red trident. I'm stabbing through your heart each and every time I'm rhyming. Yeah, check the way I'm creating, there's no debating. I'm inflating from the heart while I'm spitting it hot as Satan. No contemplating, no deliberation is necessary. They hear the voice for 1 second, they say yes, it's Harry. Very much so, breathing flames like a dragon. I'm I'm a fucking demon, got you screaming while you lagging behind, cause there ain't another rapper who can flex like this. Ah, my bad, shit, that was The Exorcist. I'm flipping out. Harry Mack, y'all know I'm about to rip freeze. I got your head spinning out 360. Yeah, I'm here right now, they all aware. I'm twisted up and mangled while I'm crawling up the stairs. Yo, I'm spitting through the static, it's a habit. Boom, boom, there's some sounds in the attic. Yo, I come through with the fatness, I rap sick. I heard in a church in Tennessee they got a mattress. True story. Hey yo, y'all know I'ma burn it down. H-Mac, yo, I got it, I won't return the crown. I'm here for all my people, y'all know I'm a master. Coming off the top and causing a natural disaster. I was in the church just recording with the pastor. Yeah, I be rhyming so fast, bro, I move past ya. Yeah, and you know I'm the real deal, not an actor. They all up in the game, but they not even a factor. Treat it like Smash Bros, Mac flows smack ya. I'm about to gather my fans, it's the rapture. Harry Mack causing disaster like Katrina. Told you off the top I be flowing like Aquafina. I'm fancy like in a Beamer, but I don't have a car. All I do is ride a bike while I'm spitting these bars. Feel like J. Cole cycling through New York. I be smoking microphones just like some Newports. Now listen, I'ma let them all better witness. For me this music shit is religious. Yeah, and I'm slaying them all. Hey, rappers hit their knees, got them praying to God. Let's go, I told you I'ma let you better witness. Yo, for me this music shit is religious. Yeah, I'm the one you might see twice. I got rappers yelling, screaming out, Jesus Christ. Let's go.
It wasn't adding me for a second. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, the thumbnail I made for this, what do you call it? Testimony might be a bit misleading, like he's some kind of crackpot or something. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but I kind of said to put a humorous twist on it. So yeah, it's a testimony from Almost False. You know, that channel who has definitely got credible people on there, people that are telling the truth, but also there is people that do some testimonies. They might exaggerate the testimony, or it might just be total bullcrap. So, you know, this channel does, you know, he is trying to do the good by getting people's testimonies out there. But I think sometimes he lacks discernment with which ones are real and not. But you can't tell someone that their story isn't real. You know, you can't. You've got no insight into that, except if God told you himself. You can have discernment and stuff, absolutely, but you can't turn and say your story is not real unless you witnessed it yourself. So, you know, we can always take some good out of testimonies, and usually you can tell when someone's lying. But yeah, I hope that I usually when I watch these testimonies, I hope it's something that they're just not lying about, and they have been saved by Jesus, and their story glorifies Jesus and helps people come to Jesus. You know what I mean? That's really what a testimony should be for. So if it's to glorify yourself, then it's not a testimony. Even if it's telling the truth, but you're glorifying yourself, then it's still a testimony, you know? So yeah, it's all about glorifying God. But like I say, I don't know anything about the story, but we'll get into it straight after we do some Jimmy Anus. Some Jimmy Anus. I see you got 2 videos there, Jim. Start off with the Raven one, and then we'll go into the 9-minute one. Then we'll get on with the testimony. It's an hour and a half long, so I'm going to try and not talk much. I will put the link in if anybody wants to come in. If we can't get through it all, we'll get through the rest of it, like tomorrow or whatever. But it's an hour and a half long. Hopefully we get through it. Right, Jimenez. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Sonny. Good to see you, Baza. Good to see you, Jim. And I think that's all we've got in chat in a minute. But good to see you guys. Always a pleasure. We got Raven Rescue. Nice. Raven Rescue. Nice. Oh, wow. It sounds a little like sounds a bit like a 70s cop show. Nice. Whoop. Ooh! Oh, he's going for him, isn't he? Proper going for him. Oh, it's your pigeons. He's attacking your pigeons, bro. So a hawk attacks your pigeons and the raven rescues it. Ah, right. Very good. Oh, wow, man. Have you ever, has any other birds ever killed your pigeons, Jim? Let's take that bit back a little bit because I just read Raven Rescue and didn't realize that I thought a raven was being rescued by a human, maybe fell out of the sky and Jim came along and picked it up, but it's Raven rescuing the pigeon. Sorry, hawk rescuing the pigeon from raven. No, sorry, raven rescuing the pigeon from hawk. Yes, raven. Yes, okay, that's it. Let's take it back a little bit. Wow, man. Yeah, play. Nice. That's a great one, Jim. That's brilliant, man. The raven rescued your pigeon from the hawk. That's great. That's great. Tell you what, man. God's creation is beautiful, but it can be lethal. It can be lethal. Nice one, Jim. Nice one. That was good. I like that. I put a like in that. I've got to put a wee comment in there. That was a beauty. Oh, Michael did as much. I see Michael did. Jono did. Don't know that other person, but Gazelle Pelletia. Okay. Okay. You need to give that raven. Do ravens eat my no. You need to give that raven a treat. Okay, that'll do, because I don't know what they eat properly. Treat is not double EPJ, it's EA, you know what I'm saying? What a rescue, you need to give that raven a treat. There we go, sorted. And you got another sub. Oh, we've got a 9-minute one here. Starlight, fun. Next. So this is you messing about with stars this time. Stars and effects. Not just man-made light, but actual natural light and effects. Okay. Let's have a look. And then we'll get on with the topic. Good testimony. Ah, I see. That's probably why they did it, Jim. They probably feel close. Do you know what I mean? They probably feel like they're part of the family. They eat from your compost. You know what I mean? So there you go. They're probably doing it through loyalty. They know that those pigeons are yours. You know, so they probably do it through loyalty. Stars this time. Nice. Good effects though. Mad effects. How are you doing that? Magnifying glass. Hold on. Monoscope lens effects. Okay. From your Galaxy A15. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I believe so, Jim. I believe so, bro. I believe so. Even birds can be loyal, eh? Great. Well, look, birds could definitely be loyal. Look, I know, like when Noah sent out the raven, you know what I mean? You know, it didn't have anywhere to land, so it came back. But, you know, the dove in the end brought back the twig. It was being loyal. Talking about well, apparently this testimony we're getting, he's an ex-professional baseball player, a former professional baseball player. Now, I know old like Babe Ruth names and stuff like that, but when it comes to baseball, I have no idea who they are, especially if it be a a younger person. So I've never heard of Jesse Ford before, but apparently he's an former professional baseball player. Do ravens? They don't just eat seeds and nuts and fruit and that. Do they actually eat little mice and that? Don't ravens eat mice and stuff? Aren't they like sort of kind of carnivorous in a way? You know, I mean, don't they eat mice and that as well? Are they too? I'm not sure because I know some birds eat mice and that. I'm just not sure if ravens and that do. Yeah, they're meat eaters, so they'll eat the meat eaters, so they'll eat mice and that as well. Yeah, they're bound to love your compost, bro. They'll find a few mice in there as well. Nice. You had to hide the cat from the ravens. You had to hide the kittens from the ravens. I mean, I don't think they could eat a whole cat, but a kitten, they could probably carry it with it. I don't blame you, bro. Don't blame you. I wiped my screens, my monitors the other day with a wet cloth, and now the sunlight's coming in through daylight's coming in through the window. I can see so much watermarks on there, so many watermarks. Not wrong. Yeah, a little bit like that. A little bit. I get ya. Yeah. He's a cool tune. Yeah. Nice. Now it's got a little bit crunchy. Look at that, I'm gonna go for it. Ha! Nice one, Jim. Nice one. I'll put the link in for anybody watching the chat replay to sub to Jim. Because everybody in here has already subbed, obviously. So anybody watching the chat replay, there'll be Jim's link. Jim Anus. Yeah, sorry, I didn't go live yesterday. I was shattered because remember I did them streams. I did like 3 streams in 24 hours, and then we did the long stream, like movie box. It was fight night, but we did movies and series and all that as well. Kind of finished at about 5 or something. No, it was just before 5 for me, I think. But I decided at 5:45 to go fishing in the morning. It's 4 hours fishing, you know, in the canal, and on the way back, I got a wee zander, you know. I was only going to go out for an hour just to see if I could catch one, but nothing was happening. So I stayed out for about 4 hours, I think, and ended up getting one little zander. But, you know, I was trying to get a good pick. I was trying to get a good pick of him on the phone. I was trying to get a video of him on the phone. I picked him up and got record because I'm trying to use my phone. It'd be better with a GoPro on my chest or something. But I'm trying to use the phone, and he slipped out my bloody hand at the same time. So I couldn't get a good look at him. He was only a little zander, little tiny zander, but I was chuffed with him because I've been out for 4 hours, and then it was bigger than the last zander at least. But it's the time for baby zanders and baby pike and all that. It's all like, and I only used a little lure. So it's more likely a little boy's got to go for the little lure. But sometimes you get bigger ones on the little lures, you know, because the big lures I was using wasn't doing anything. So I decided to put on a little one. And then it caught a smaller boy. It's got a smaller one. So I'll quickly show it. But nice one, Jim. Links there. Always a pleasure. Let's quickly show it. Just a tiny wee. I was chuffed with him. Obviously, I've got a lot bigger than that in the past, but you know, I was chuffed with it. You hardly get a good look at him. I already took him off the hook and put him in the net so I could just pick him up and then film him before I started recording. But as soon as I picked him up, he jumped back into the water. It was funny. I'll show it just quickly. I think I can show it through WhatsApp. So I haven't downloaded it to the computer yet, but I've got it on WhatsApp because I sent it to Harry. So if we go to Harry's, yeah, so what? 600 subs for Roger. Yeah, I know. LVA Paul's just sent me a thing saying 600 subs for Roger. I knew he was coming up to 600 anyway. Or does he mean he's got 600 more? Yeah, 600. Yeah, I knew he was coming up to 600. So I'm saying anybody that does Flat Earth is going to be doing it, getting their subs quicker than me because I don't do specifically just Flat Earth. I try to go to scripture. You know what I mean? I try and do scripture. And unfortunately, people don't like hearing the truth of scripture, you know? So people are going to come up faster than me. Roger will overtake me. But Roger will get to 1,000 before I'll get to 1,000, I think. And I'm 156 in front of Roger. I was in front of him by about 400 at one point, you know, when he first started. But, you know, he will overtake me because of the topic and his interaction. I don't get much interaction here because it's scripture, you know. Flats gets more interaction because he's got more subs in the first place through Flat Earth. And then he does a debate thing, you know. I'm not doing debates. So in that as well. But Flat's already had the subs before that. So yeah, I knew if you're listening, Paul, I knew he was coming up to 600 subs anyway. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. I mean, I'd like to get up to 1,000 subs, but I don't think I will. It'd be nice, but I'm not looking at subs anymore. I just notice when they go down because they go down quite a lot. Then they go back up, but then they go down. So that's kind of when I notice and I mention it. But, you know, I don't think I'll ever get to 1,000. I'd like to, but I don't think I ever will. It'd be nice. You know. So, yeah, I mean, I'll continue doing the streams, whether I've got the amount of subs I've got now, or even if I lose 500, I'll still do it. You know what I mean? It's not about subs to me. It would be nice. It would feel nice if my subs went up more, obviously. Because then you think, yes, I'm actually getting out to more people. People are going to get to hear about truth of Christ. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you have to pick a topic that people are interested in, like Flat Earth. They are. When it comes to scripture, yes, there's a lot of people out there know scripture and a lot of Christians out there. But unfortunately, even Christians that are flat earthers usually would prefer to go to the Flat Earth stuff before they come to scripture stuff. You know what I mean? Hey, Martin, how you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Four Jacks in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Right. What was we about to do? Was we just about to do it? Was just about to get into the topic, wasn't we? No, I was going to show you the wee fish I caught first, wasn't I? That's what I was going to do. Yeah, that's why I didn't stream yesterday. Like I said, I'd streamed 3 times in 24 hours. I'd been up all night on the movie night, well, fight night, and then went straight out fishing. Only caught the wee little zander, man. Tiny. But like I say, it's because I put on a little lure. I wasn't getting anything on the big lures. And then he jumped out of my hand when I was trying to get a proper look at him. Look at him with the camera for you. For whoever, for everybody. Is that it now? Yeah, here it is. Hold on. Yeah. Right, let me just share this. It's tiny. He's small Jack Zander. I would speak. If he was a pike, you'd call him a Jack pike. But he's a Zander, so I call him a wee Zander Bob. Tiny. He's out 4 hours, and this is all I got. But I was so chuffed with him because I've been out 4 hours. There he is. But I tried to get a good look at him. I'd already unhooked him. I was just letting him in the water while I got my phone and that ready. You know. Got little Zander Bob. I've already took him off the hook. He's only a wee boy. Put him in the net, so he's got a wee picture. He's only a little. Watch this. He jumped straight out my hand. Baby, but, you know, straight into the water. Oh yep, he's gone. He's gone. But yeah, he was a catch. He was a catch. Fair play. He's gone. Catch. Oh yeah, he's gone. He's gone. You know, he's a catch. Oh yep, he's gone. He's gone. Picked him. He's only a little baby boy. He's a baby, but you know, he's a catch. Oh yep, he's gone. He's gone. But yeah, he was a catch. He was a catch. And you could tell that he's never been caught before. He wanted to get straight back in that water as soon as possible. And he was, as soon as usually you can get them in one hand, them little ones, and then they're fine until you show their blooming fins and teeth and all that. But no, he was like wiggle straight in the water, straight back in. He's a catch. Oh yep, he's gone. He's gone. I'm glad he landed in the water rather than banging his head on the side first. Though at least he hit the water first. I just thought it was funny. That I waited 4 hours for that, and I couldn't even get a good. I mean, I'd already seen him for a good 30 seconds beforehand because I was getting the camera and that ready while he was resting in the water, sort of thing, in the net. And then I couldn't even get a good video of him after 4 bloody hours. But there you go. There you go. That was him. I thought it was pretty funny anyway. Right. I'll go ahead. Go. Right. Okay. Is that stopped? Oh, I thought it was something that was still playing in the background now. Is Roger here as well? I didn't see Roger. A wee bit of fishing, Martin. It was after fight night, the day before yesterday. It was yesterday morning I caught it, but it was I mean, there is bigger fish than that in the canal, but it was only a little lure I used because I had the big lure on, one of the big lures, and it wasn't catching anything. It's the wrong time of year in our canals to catch big fish, big pike and all that. You can. It's blooming so hard to sometimes. It just depends. Sometimes you catch all the time. Sometimes you barely catch it all. So I put on a little lure instead. And on the way back home, I was walking the dog. That's what you call it when you're walking the dog. You're just trailing the lure behind you, giving it a jig and that. Caught him straight on. Didn't even have to strike much. To be honest, because he was that little, I actually thought I got a snag in a stick first. So when I was reeling, I was thinking, get this stick off. But then I felt, when a fish curls up in like a C shape, it's trying to stop. It's trying to stop its momentum, isn't it? It's trying to stop it going forward. So I felt that little vibration, and then I knew it was a fish. Sort of thing. Usually you can get bigger than that, but like I say, it was only put on a wee lure because nothing was happening when he begins. And then try to get a video of him, and he jumped straight up my hand. But you could tell he'd never been caught before. He was just a wee fish, so he'd never been caught before. He was probably shaking himself. Anyway, let's get back into this. Well, let's start it. It's an hour and a half testimony. Hopefully I can get it all done. I'll try not to speak too much. Link is there if anybody wants to come in. It's from Almost False channel. It does the testimonies, as you'll see. Sometimes he's got good testimonies on there. Sometimes he has testimonies. Not that he knows. Obviously, he's trying to do the right thing, get people's testimonies like that. But sometimes I think some discernment's needed with these testimonies, because some of the things they say are like, would be against scripture, you know. And well, come on, that's kind of not right, you know. So but not them all. He has plenty of good ones. So let's see what this guy's all about. UFO Contactee explains why aliens are not what we've been told. That's his one, isn't it? Yeah, that's his one. Jason Ford, a former professional baseball player who had repeated UFO encounters and direct communication with a non-human intelligence. In this episode, Jason walks through everything that he experienced over the years, including orbs, missing time, and the telepathic reception of quantum mathematical knowledge. Is not a captivating story, but it's not only a captivating story, but it allows us to get a deeper understanding of the beings. So he probably thought it was this telepathic reception of quantum mathematical knowledge, when all along it was demons making him think he was telepathic or talking telepathically to aliens or whatever. I don't know. Let's check him. But apparently he was a baseball player. I don't know if you've heard of them, guys, you Americans. His name's Jason Ford. Have you heard of him? Former professional baseball player. I don't know who he played for, but Jason Ford, like the car Ford. Right, let's do this. Let's see what he's got to say.
I started to realize that this is like quantum-based information coming in that I have no background with.
The man you just saw is Jason Ford, a former professional baseball player. And if there was one thing that was far from his mind, it was the whole topic of UFOs.
Oh, you don't get sand up a road yet, Martin. It's because they're probably mainly in the canals. They're probably mainly in the canals rather than the rivers. But I think you do get them in the rivers. But they're not originally from here, Martin. It was Europeans. Apparently, Europeans dumped some in our waters. And see, when you catch a zander here, you're not meant to put them back. You're actually meant to keep them, kill them, leave them on the side. You're not meant to put them back. I always put them back. But they're not meant to be in these waters. So the rule is, I mean, I don't even have a fishing license, so I'm not getting a bloody license to fish. It's stupid. And as an idiot, I need a license to fish. Why? I pay for a certificate to say I'm safe to fish, but you give me no lessons. I mean, it's just money to you. That's all it is. You're permitting me because I give you money. It's not because you're teaching me anything that I deserve that license. It's because it's even the most professional fisherman will tell you, angler will tell you that even the one at the top will tell you you're always learning something new about fishing, without a doubt. But anyway, they're not meant to be in our waters. So when you catch them, you're meant to kill them or leave them out or take them home. I put them back. I'm not doing that. But you don't get them up the road yet, no? Carlisle is the furthest, apparently. They've been seen. The license is nonsense. It is nonsense, man. And Harry has actually had a license, but it was out of date. But he went fishing last weekend. And because his license was out of date and he had 2 other people with him catfishing at a lake, police came along and everything. He had to pay a fine on the spot for everybody and then update a license. I'm not getting a license. I'm not having someone's permission to fish. I mean, it's stupid. I'm just paying for a certificate or a bit of paper or a card or whatever to say I can fish. I get no lessons from it. You don't get any lessons or anything like that. It's mad. But I dare say they'll be up your way soon. If they're in Carlisle, I mean, on the borders. I mean, Carlisle's in the borders. Half of it's in England, half's in Scotland, kind of thing. So if they're on the borders, you're on your Motherwell. You're kind of, well, what, another 100 mile? Another 100 mile. It won't be there. It won't be take that long. Because you're kind of, is Motherwell in the west or the east? I thought it was in the east, like me. No, Motherwell's more in the middle, isn't it? Oh, my phone is charging. Zoom out. Zoom out. I thought so. You're in the middle. You're kind of in the middle. That's what I thought. You're in the middle, but you're more to the west than the east. I suppose. Because I used to think Motherwell was on the east coast, but it's not. It's in the middle, isn't it? It's in the middle. But it's only like about 100. It's only about like 100 mile to the borders, isn't it? 150 mile. Shouldn't it be long before they get there, man? I'm sure you'll see one at some point. Sure you will. I'm not even sure if we get them in the rivers here, because obviously I'm from Scotland and I'm from northeast. I'm from further north than Martin. I'm from northeast, right in the northeast corner, Fraserburgh, which is 36 mile north of Aberdeen. So there's no way they did them up Fraserburgh way, and there's no canals up Fraserburgh. There's only rivers and that. So I've never seen. I don't often go fishing in the river. I'll need to fish in the river. But I dare say you would get them in the rivers as well, because some of the canals split off into the rivers. You know, sometimes it happens. So I dare say you get them in the rivers as well. So it's all connected. So they'll end up there at some point. It's near far. It's near far.
He couldn't care less about it and definitely wasn't looking for them. But that didn't matter because they were looking for him. Over a period of several years, he was visited numerous times and received communication from an intelligence much higher than ours, sharing mathematical formulas and quantum-based information that Jason had no idea what to do with. That raised important questions. Who are these alien beings? What do they want? And are they really like what we've been led to believe?
So you're only like 25 miles from Glasgow, really. So surely the Clyde will have him at some point. Do you see any part of the Clyde being in Motherwell? Or does it bypass you altogether or go the wrong direction? So I've only ever been through Motherwell on the bus. I've never actually stopped in Motherwell. Glasgow, I've stopped in Glasgow, but Motherwell itself, I've only been through in the bus. But do you see any of the Clyde at all?
Hello and welcome to the Almost False podcast, where I interview regular people with incredible.
That's what I'm saying. Even that Xander's a predator, Pike's a predator, and they obviously would eat each other, but I get them all in the same canal here. But you go pike fishing yourself. It goes through Motherwell, mate. Right. I kind of thought it would because Motherwell's like a big, well, it's not as big as Glasgow, but it's only 25 mile-ish, 25 mile. For Glasgow, so I kind of thought you'd see it because it's the main river in Scotland, isn't it? The Clyde. There's a few rivers, but it's the most well known, I think, is the Clyde. Look, you've got the Clydesdale Bank. We've got two banknotes up in Scotland. We've got the Bank of Scotland and Clydesdale Bank. If that's still true, I don't know. I haven't lived there since 2005, but we used to have Bank of Scotland and Clydesdale Bank when it came to money. Anyway. 12 mile, 22 Edinburgh. Oh, okay. It sucks there. Right, so the Clyde starts at Aberdeen doing my curve army. Right, 12 mile, 22. Right, I got you. See, Edinburgh is on the same side as me, but I'm obviously a lot further north. Edinburgh is on the east, and I'm further north than Edinburgh, but it's still on the east, and I think people in Edinburgh would still be classed as Doric to a certain extent. Or maybe it just goes as far as Dundee, Arbroath, and Forfar and that. I'm not sure. But it's still, Edinburgh's on the east, but I'm a lot further north, obviously.
Incredible stories. Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure that you too have heard the UFO talk pick up in the last couple of years. There's a lot of interest surrounding the topic, understandably, and there are a lot of questions associated with it.
You're close up to the weeds. Do you feel closer? would you prefer to be closer to Edinburgh? I mean, people, or would you prefer to be closer to the Ouija's?
Which is why I was happy to interview Jason and go through all of his experience.
Edinburgh, when they talk, they sound like they're asking a question all the time. Here, mate, will your chum is doing the shop, is it? I'm just going upstairs. I like say this and like say that. Aye, they're good. I like them, man. They're great. I like all Scottish people. But people think Scotland has just got one accent and a Ouija accent, and it's not. I mean, to people outside of Scotland, we might all sound the same, but I sound totally different to Martin. Martin will sound totally different to somebody for Govan, maybe, in the middle of Glasgow. Highlands sound different to me. Shetlanders sound almost Welsh. Orkney people sound kind of Welsh. They've also got Gaelic. There's Doric, and then there's Ouija. It's all over the place. I like everybody. I'm the same, man. I'm the same. You just take people as individuals. But, you know, there is common, like for back in the day, like, oh, Ouija's don't like Chukdars and this and that and this and that. I mean, there might have been that to it. It might have been a bit clannish at one point. But when you see people individually and not as a group, then it's everybody's friendly enough. You know what I mean? It's great. Anyway, shut up, Peach.
In detail, some of which he was actually able to capture on camera, and we'll take a look at them after. This interview will not answer all the questions you might have, but I would say that it'll answer the most important ones. Quite honestly, he's seen things that sound out of a sci-fi movie. I'm talking holograms.
Just for instance, like just a minor instance sort of thing, like a Glaswegian would say wains. For a young child or somebody that's young, they'd say wains, which is short for wee ones. Wee ones, and you say it kind of fast enough, it's wains, weans, it's wains. So they say wains. But where I'm from, we say bairns. Bairns. We don't say wains. We say bairns. Bairns. Same as somebody for Edinburgh would say bairns. Somebody for Arbroath would say bairns. Somebody in the middle or to the west, in the middle of Scotland, would say wains, weans, you know? So you say bairns as well. You say bairns as well. I sound like James McAvoy. Oh, I get you. I can hear him in my head. But we've all got, even in Scotland, some of us got the same words, but we pronounce them differently. Like up where I'm from, like Glasgow, Motherwell, and that might say wit for saying what, like WHIT. Instead of saying what, they would say wit. I would say fit, FIT, fit you're speaking about. That means what you're talking about. They would say, what you're talking about. You know, so a kind of different accent and slightly different words, but it's understandable. I mean, some Glaswegians don't understand me if I speak full Doric, but you know, it's you would say wet, right? I would say fit. You know, somebody, I would say far you fae, meaning where you from, but somebody in Dundee would say far you frae, like FRAE, like far you frae. So it's a cross between what I say and what an English person would say. I say fae, they would say frae. An English person would say from, so it's a cross between frae and from, fae and from. So I say fae, they would say frae, far you frae. Or war you frae, war you frae. That's what they'd say. I'd say far you frae. Mad. I know, I worked in Stonehaven a while, mate. Stonehaven's just outside there, but Stonehaven's a nice place, man. So when you come into Stonehaven for your side, you'll probably be on the top of the cliff, won't you? And then you look down on Stonehaven into the harbour and that. Stonehaven's beautiful. It's only a little place, but it's beautiful. I mean, I'm from Fraserburgh, and outside Fraserburgh is a village called Sandhaven. But so you're originally from Glasgow. I'm from Glasgow. There you go. So you're from Glasgow, but you live in Motherwell. Right. Nice. Anyway, if we keep talking about our dialects and that from Scotland, I'll never get on with this, and it's an hour and a half, so let's get on with it.
Verbs, telepathy, missing time. We got a lot on the menu, so I will not waste any more of your time. Let's get right into the story with Jason himself.
Yeah, buckle up, because this is like where truth is stranger than
I am
fiction.
glad.
This was a trip, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And the other thing too that was really
just quick, that's another thing. Somebody from Glasgow would say I'm from Glasgow. I would say Glasgow. Where I'm from in Fraserburgh, we don't say Glasgow, we say Glasgow. Oh, he's for Glasgow. He's for Glasgow. And I'm not as in G-A-Y as in gay, but Glasgow as in G-A-E. Glasgow. And they would say Glasgow. It's all just variations of very similar thing. Hey, no, it's not your fault, Martin. It's me. It's me. Don't say sorry, bro. It's me. Don't say sorry, man. I was talking to everybody as well, not just you directly. We not gay. Oh, no, I know, but that's how we say it. Glasgow. And you kind of cut it off. You say Glasgow. We say Glasgow. And sort of thing. Just carry on a little bit more, sort of thing. It's just variations of the same thing, isn't it?
I've always had a really good memory, almost like a videographic memory, which is a curse and a blessing, by the way.
I wonder why he's doing an interview in his car. A lot of people do that, you know. They do a lot of people do videos from a car, but an interview from your car. I mean, I would feel get a bit stuffy in there, but a weird place to do an interview. Anyway.
Because if you have a videographic memory,
it's a interview, but still.
And you're remembering things that from your past, maybe you're ashamed of, guilty of, you visit those and you're like, it's like you're there. And then you can also experience good times too. But especially when I started going through this whole like 7-8 year process of experiencing this orbs and craft manifestation and everything, it was like I was on high alert. So I remember this day to a T. October.
So it's like he was on high alert. I would say that's some kind of demonic thing then, definitely.
7th. Well, the date would have been October 6th of 2018. I was up in LA for work, doing some workshops for people like I normally do, just kind of doing my dog and pony show, business as usual. But that week before this, so we're on October 6th. This week before, I could not explain. And I know a lot of people have experienced like synchronicities on the clock, but it was more than just the clock too. I was having synchronicities, meaning like meaningful coincidences. I was having not only every single time that I would look.
There's a lot of these stories, you know, like when it comes to alien abduction and all that they're definitely not credible. But one thing they all have in common is this time thing. It seems they have some kind of time lapse. Now, considering that a lot of them are lying about it, a lot of them are mentally ill, but some of them aren't. Some of them are experiencing this. And obviously I'm saying that like they're experiencing it, but it's not what they think they're experiencing. It's probably demonic. It's not actual aliens. But isn't it funny that they all kind of seem to have the same kind of thing, like a time lapse type of thing? So if he's telling the truth, then I definitely think it's a demonic thing. Unless it's just like a repeating of the narrative that they do. But I don't think everybody's lying about it. I do think a lot of these people have gone through it. It's just not what they think it is, you know? In the Burger King car park. Aye. Nice.
Look at the clock. It would be like, 1111, 111, 222, 555. And I didn't think much of it at first, but as the week went on, it was like it was out of control.
There you go. Don't be sorry, mate. I'm an Aussie and I find the dialect variations interesting. Absolutely. Even with an Aussie, I can tell differences between certain Aussies. Sometimes I get Kiwis and Aussies mixed up, and that's a common thing. But usually I can tell a Kiwi from an Aussie, but I do sometimes get them mixed up.
It was to the point where there's no way that this is coincidence. Something strange is going on. And on top of the synchronicities on the clock, it just seemed like there was I can't remember exactly the details, but there were things happening where I'm like, man, that's really weird. Like I just had a conversation with somebody about that, and now this is happening. So
there you go. There's another Martin's just put it there. Sorry, I'm just going to mention this one thing. He's put to Sonny, cheers, Sonny. Right, yeah. He's put, cheers, Sonny. Mate, that's good to know. T-A-E. Now, that's how we'd say it in real life. That's good to know. Now, me, I would say T-I. That's good to. And I would say Ken. That's good to Ken. As in T-I-K-E-N or K-A-I-N, whatever. I'd say that's good to Ken. So, you know, we've all got different accents and different dialects.
Couldn't explain it. Didn't think much about it. I got done with the workshops that day, and I remember one of my counterparts came in, one of my buddies that I worked with, and we were having a conversation. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get back to the hotel, wrap up some stuff, and as soon as I look at the clock, it's 3:33, and I remember telling him, I go, dude, I'm like, this is insane. Every time I look at the
You do. Like Jim and Jono, they talk sometimes in Kiwi, even though they're Australian. They talk in Kiwi, and they kind of transliterate it how it sounds. They put it in the chat how it sounds, like you are transliterating.
clock, it is on.
The way we talk in Scotland, there's no official way of writing it. There's no official way of writing it like there is English. We in Scotland are taught to write English, not Scottish. Not Scottish. You just have to. When you type in Scottish, you just have to say. You just have to type it how you say it, how you think it's spelt, and how you say it, and how it sounds. You know, there's no official way of writing in Scottish. We are taught to type in English. The only official way would be Gaelic. You know, and it's still English letters, A, B, C, D, E, and all that. You know, it's still based on English. Even though we had a complete different language at one point, even though at one point we were Picts who had a complete different language until the Gaels and all that came in, and the Saxons and the Nordic, and you know, and it kind of got mixed up. So yeah, I mean, I don't even think Pictish is used anymore as a language. People who think that Gaelic is the same as Pictish, and it's not. Gaelic originally came from Ireland, and that came from the Gaels. Hence the word. The Gaels were the Irish people.
On a synchronistic number, and I'm talking every single time, and he just kind of blows it off,
exactly
like most of us do, right?
Exactly, bro. It's your own wee dialect. It's your own wee dialect. It's how you think it's spelled. It's exactly like my brother and me are both the same dialect. He lives up and he still lives there, but we've got the same dialect. But he would spell things differently in Scottish to me. You know, I mean, some people would spell like deed, like we say dead or heed. We say head, we say heed instead of head. So I would spell that H-E-I-D. Some people just spell it H-E-E-D because I think I put an I in it. He-id, but I say it faster, heed. So I think there's an I in it. Some people just think it's double E. And that's people from the same place. So it's your own wee spelling and your own wee dialect, I suppose. You're right there, man.
He's like, yeah, bro, good luck, you know. So I'm like, okay, I'll try to blow it off and just get back to the hotel, go on with business. I get through the hotel room, and this is where the strange stuff really starts. So this is before the actual incident the next day, which is where I have the light phenomenon. I'm in the hotel room.
I thought Basil would have got caught up in this conversation because even though he's in the States, he's got a lot of Scottish affiliation and understands a lot of it.
And I would usually get a workout in so that I would get work done on the laptop, get down, do some push-ups, get back up, get some work done.
That's something we say the same, off your head. Or I'd say you're off your crump, off your dome, off your nap. But in general terms, it'd be off your head.
I'd been feeling really euphoric this week, and I had not been drinking either. I'd been, I would go through these spurts where I'd be like, you know what, I need to mellow out. I need to just take a break, detox, and get it together. So I hadn't been drinking for a couple of weeks. So I thought, well, maybe I'm just having this energy, and maybe I'm just more aware, and that's why I'm seeing these synchronicities on the clock and things. Maybe I'm just a little bit more.
Buzzes broke up. That is proper, my PG. If we didn't want to write scribble, how would you know how to spell it? Exactly, bro. You spell it and you're in how you think it's said. Like Baz has spelt it how he thinks it's said. There you go.
crisp, a little bit more sharp in the head. And so I get down to do these push-ups, and I get to 25, which is what I would normally do. I do 25, get back up, get down, and I get to 100 through the sets of 25. I blow through 25 and I get to 50, and I'm like, this isn't
I
normal.
like the who part, Bazza, because that's exactly how I would spell it. That's exactly how I would say it. Who to spell it? I'd say who to spell it. Who to spell it. You've actually got that exactly how I'd say it. Who?
I'm just cranking these out, and I'm doing like military grade style, like all the way to the bottom of the floor. And I'm not even breathing hard. And so I'm like, well, keep going. So I get to 75.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. I don't even think AI would be able to sort that out, because I don't think it's done enough on the internet for AI to suss it out. I don't think AI would be able to suss it out, because, like I just said, a lot of Scottish people, when they're online, will type in English so everybody understands them. Not a lot of people type in their own dialect, and it's all different dialects when they do type. So, and it's not common. It's not common. It's similar, but it's not common. It's all different spellings. So how the hell is AI going to figure that out if it's not uniform? They're not. They're not. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea, bro. It's a very good idea.
Still not breathing hard. It's like this supernatural strength that I had never experienced in my life. And I started like, you rationalize. You're like, wait a minute. Like, did I lose weight? Maybe it's because I haven't been drinking and haven't weighed myself. If I lost like 10 pounds and I'm just ripping these things out, get to 100, no problem. And at that point, I'm kind of tripping out.
We started getting extra strength as well. It's got to be demonic, man. If he's telling the truth, it's got to be demonic.
I'm like, this is strange. I've never had unusual strength like this, but I felt really good to the point where I like didn't even care. I'm like,
he was getting abducted by demons and they were injecting him with steroids.
like, this is awesome. Like, I feel great. But at that point, I get up on my knees just to stand up. And as I look down at the carpet, you know how, if you've ever faded out, like, I know there'd been times where I was in like a business meeting or something and you're just bored out of your mind and maybe you're spacing out a little bit on like a patterned carpet and it starts, it starts kind of, it just starts meshing and you're just like, okay, it's just your vision, you're just kind of looking at the patterns, maybe morphing because you're tired or whatever. I'd had that happen before, but this was like a solid, and like I say, what appeared to me enough to the point where I was like, this is extremely strange. What appeared to be like a hologram that was layered above the carpet by a couple inches. So it was like a very crisp, clear, like grid.
A big grey with a big massive oval-shaped dome passing out smack and crack.
Over the top of the carpet that kind of spread out. And I'm sitting there, I'm putting my hand down through what appears to me as a hologram, and I'm touching the floor, and I just keep coming up and down out of it. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, did I get roofied? Like, did somebody put something in my food or drink? Like, what's up with this?
Yes, the aliens were roofing you, right? Exactly, bro. No, if it's true, it's demonic, that's for sure.
Strength. This isn't normal. And then at that point, my iPhone, which had been sitting on my desk and they just totally muted.
Nice. He says anything that affects the algo is good with me. Oh. I like it. He'd move that gigantic cranium. Oh, nice.
As far as hadn't had any activity on the phone the last half hour at least, a voice comes out of the phone. And this is where my heart jumps because it roars out of the phone. And it's a man's voice. And it starts stating, if you're seeing synchronicities like 111, 222, 555, and and at that point, I'm like on a hyperventilating. I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? So I run over, I grab the phone, I pick up the iPhone and I look at it and it's 555.
Isn't 555 the number they use? Oh shit. Someone at my door, 2 seconds, guys. Hello? I think it's Harry and his brother. I think it's Harry and his brother. But what was I saying? Oh man, I can't remember now. Can't remember. What was I saying? What was I saying? What was I saying before the buzzer went? Let me just see. I can't remember what I was saying. 555. You're saying 555, but it's a common pattern. Don't we see 555 in games and that in place of real numbers for America? Isn't it 555 they use in movies and stuff like that, rather than and in games? How you doing? You good, Nathan? All right, mate. Streaming. How you doing?
Streaming and demon. You on cam?
Yeah, I am.
Yo, people.
You're only a little in the corner. That's Harry. But yeah, no. So it's a common pattern. I'm not saying he's lying, but it's a common pattern. The numbers thing. You know, I mean, I'm hoping he's not because it's his testimony. You know? But you know, like if anybody says aliens, I've always said it's not aliens, it's demons. If they're not mentally ill, if they're not on drugs, and if they're not lying, then it's demonic. Anyway, continue.
So this voice comes out of the phone stating what I've been experiencing this whole week. It's 555. I glance over at the alarm clock, which is those old alarm clocks sitting on the nightstand there. It's 555. And at that point, the first thing that went through my head is I'm going crazy. There's something, this is off. This isn't normal. And you start rationalizing it. Like, I remember it's that quick. I'm going through my head. I'm like, you've been on the road for 10 years, you know, pretty much by yourself. You've been in stop and start traffic. Maybe something got you. Maybe you've been drinking too much, whatever it is. Just trying to rationalize all this stuff away. And I could not sleep that night. I tried to just forget about it, went to bed.
Martin says, what did he say? Know what I mean, Harry? In Frank Bruno voice. That a Scottish Frank. Know what I mean, Harry?
What, Frank Bruno? That'd be like.
Know what I mean, Harry? Know what I mean, Harry? I don't even think it would go, man. You can only think of Frank Bruno with like a London type accent,
Yeah,
can't
I
you?
know, yeah.
It just wouldn't suit him. It just there's plenty of black Scotsmen, but Frank Bruno it just wouldn't suit. No way.
Yeah, nah. I don't. That's like a hard accent to try and figure out.
I'm surprised Bazza hasn't typed. But Bazza could be working. He might be just popping in and out at the time. I don't know.
And this is where I think it really started coming on intensely. When I say it, I'm talking about thought.
What do you mean? No. You're telling me Frank Bruno lives near you in the Gorbals, mate. You live in Motherwell, you're not in the Gorbals, bro. That would be funny, though.
Forms that were starting to come into my head that I know now were not from me. And they weren't voices, but it was, I'm in bed all night long. And the incessant thought that I got was, you need to go down to the beach tonight, back home in Dana Point, which was about an hour and a half, 2 hours away down south. And you're going to witness something. You need to get down there. And then I'm going in my head, well, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I've got all these workshops I've got to scheduled at work the next day. I can't just bail on them. But I was so compelled by the feeling, the euphoria, and this message coming through that I literally canceled those workshops and maybe just being spiritually starved at that point, looking for something else, whatever that was. I'd be willing to experience something. I think maybe that was part of it. So I just bolted home that next day and kind of just waited around until like 10:30 at night, and then I can go into the experience unless you have any questions there.
Well, I have one question before you get into the first experience. When you started experiencing these things, what was your initial thought? Did you think that did it feel benevolent? Did you feel unnerved? Like, how was that?
Well, before he answers that, if that was happening to me, I would be very unnerved. I wouldn't think it was benevolent. I would think it was malignant. Malignant, is that the right word? Yeah, I think malignant is the opposite of benevolent. Yeah, benevolent is like calm, not getting involved type of thing. Malignant is very involved and aggressive. Or am I getting it wrong around? Anyway, but I would be unnerved by that if that happened to me. Even when I think I've had like sleep paralysis, which I've had, but I also think I've had the other where you feel an evil presence. That unnerved me. I couldn't even say in Jesus' name. I had to say it in my head because it came out as a garble, like I was on some kind of mad drugs. You couldn't get it out. You just couldn't get it out. So that unnerved me. So that must have unnerved him. Sorry. I wanted to stop it before he said anything, just in case he said, no, it was cool. Because if it made him feel calm and all that, then that must be some kind of demonic love.
Scared of it? Like, how was it for you?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I wasn't scared at all. And it didn't give me a feeling of whether it was good or bad.
It didn't scare him at all. I mean, what? That's either like some kind of mad demonic fantasy love, or, you know, like making him feel, I might like even say, well, the devil comes as an angel of light. You know what I mean? So it is definitely possible, but I would have thought he would have been unnerved. But I can understand him not being, I suppose.
Not either. You know what it felt like is that the best way I can explain it.
I'm not trying.
It felt like that whole week, without having details of what was happening, like there was a dimensional reality shift. It's the only way I can explain it. It felt like the reality that I was living in was slowly morphing into something that was sharper. I was more alert, noticing things more, and the things with the things on the clocks, maybe that made it even, maybe just intensified it. But it didn't feel good or bad. If anything, I felt euphoric. So it was definitely a lighter feeling than a darker one at that point.
Okay, so these things happen.
God, geez, I'm going to go make a cup. I'll leave this playing. I'll make a cup out. If there's anything that you need me to address when I come back, because I won't be able to hear it, say something.
You go back to your home, and then the next day things start going down. So yeah, tell us what happened.
Yeah, so it's about 10:30 at night, and I'm just sitting on the couch, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is nuts. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm waiting around to go down to the beach, because this turned into not just thinking I'm going to experience something. It's like I knew that I'm going to experience something. I had the phone ready. That was the first thing. I'm going to tape this. I'm going to get it on video. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to capture something. So I live down by Strands Beach. If you've never been to Strands Beach in Dana Point, there's a long staircase that goes down probably 200 steps, and it's pretty steep. But at 10:30, you're going to be the only one down on that beach, most likely. And I was. And so I go out the sliding glass door. I start cruising down that staircase, and it only takes me, I don't know, 3-4 minutes to get all the way down. But all there is at the bottom is just a lamp that kind of shines a light into the sand. But I remember very vividly that the night especially was crystal clear. Like, it seemed like the clearest I had ever seen it. Like, you could see the silhouette of Catalina off in the horizon, which is like 30 miles. But there was no clouds at all, nothing. And the stars are not going to be as bright there because you have all the city lights from like Orange County that are kind of resonate off, so you don't get a lot of stars. So it's just black. So I'm like, this is perfect. This is like a perfect setup for whatever I think I'm going to experience at this point. So I get down to the end of the staircase. I take an immediate right, and this is where it felt like autopilot, which is very strange, hard to explain if you've never had this strange experience. An autopilot, like I knew exactly where I was going, where I needed to go, and where I needed to look. I didn't even have to think about it. It was just like, okay, I'm going to go 200 yards this way approximately, and I'm just hoofing it through the sand. I get to that spot and literally just turn, look straight out towards Catalina, put the phone down on a rock, and I'm just like, boom, I'm zoned in. And there's still that little voice in the back of my head like, dude, this is nuts. What are you doing? You know, didn't matter. Whatever was happening was overriding any sort of voice that I had in my head that this is crazy, go back up the stairs, whatever. And so I sat there for about 5 minutes. I didn't know whether I should, am I supposed to meditate? Am I supposed to just stare out here, whatever? So I'm sitting there looking out across the ocean. I sit down on a rock for a minute because there's nothing happening for a couple minutes. And I'm looking over, checking my phone, put it down, and I look up, from the rock, I'm still sitting, and sure enough, this pinpoint light, super, super bright. I can't explain how bright it was. It should have been blinding, but it didn't affect my eyes at all. It was just super bright and very small, but it looked like it had materialized like halfway in between Catalina and the beach that I'm on. Like I say, is about 30 miles, about a 45-degree angle up. And at that moment, it just started pulsating, and I started feeling like almost like a trance state kick in, but it was super, super peaceful, like to the point where I had never experienced peace like that before. Now, when I look back on it on that note, everything that I know now that happened since then, I think that was the ultimate point of deception where hook, line, and sinker, it's got me, this is good. Like this is a feeling that I would want forever, right? So not only is it sitting there pulsing, but I couldn't tell you how long this went on. It only seemed like 5 minutes to me. But what happened is the dot, the white dot coming through started expanding out horizontally and vertically, like the Star of Bethlehem is the best way to explain it. Because people have always asked me, what did it look like? Like, well, it was pulsing, and then it started expanding. And if like as big as it had expanded, like if I were to look out, if I were to put my fingers about that far apart in front of me, looking out towards the ocean, it's pretty large. It's taken up a good section of the sky. And I'm just like, what is this? And I'm like, kind of like, I don't care. This feels
like he says like it would be a feeling he wanted forever. So it's got to be some kind of false ecstasy love. You know what I mean? And I like ecstasy was. It was like a false love, wasn't it, when you took it, sort of thing. So a bit like that, but without taking the drug. You know what I mean? Because you know how good your life is. You don't always think, yeah, this feeling I want. Yeah, you can think you want that feeling forever, but you know it's not going to be like that. You know what I mean? So it sounds a bit delusional. So I didn't see he was deceived here, man. Certainly deceived.
Right. So that lasts for, like I say, what seems like 5 minutes, and I'm just kind of soaking this in. But then something clicked. I'm like, wait a minute, you got to get this on video. So I reach down, grab the phone, pick it up. So I do capture it. I capture it, but as soon as I start filming, it doesn't last very long, like maybe 20 seconds or so. And then it just kind of, that light just kind of collapses, and then almost like it's like a vacuum just took it back into the canvas of the sky. I'm just like, this is a
no such thing as a natural vacuum. It has to be man-made. What's he talking about there? He doesn't know about the heliocentric deception, does he? Obviously. He maybe does. It'd be good if he did.
trip. I don't know what to think, but here's the crazy part. And you have to remember, I don't know if we touched on this. This is something I was not looking for. I was not interested in UFOs. Never even really thought about it too much. But I looked at the clock. So remember, I went down about 10:30, and to get down those stairs only takes maybe 5 minutes. Okay, almost.
I didn't see what you typed there. He stuns out like a sore thumb. Who stuns it? Are you talking about him? Oh no, you're talking about right when you was talking about and Bruno in the Gargoyles, weren't you? Right. Sorry, I just seen it and I thought you were talking about him. It's just how come it's being there? Oh, whatever. That one was crap.
40 minutes had gone by since I sat on that rock and sat there for what I thought was 5 minutes, captured the film, and then got done. 40 minutes, almost 45 minutes. And at that point, my heart skipped a beat. I'm like, something is going on. And that's when a sense of fear came in, just based on circumstance. It wasn't like I was getting a fear from, at least I didn't feel a fear from what I experienced. I still had a lot of like a residual peace feeling. But at that moment, I'm like, I'm out. So I started heading towards the stairs at this point. So I go back to my left towards where the lamppost is. But this is something else that's crazy is when I looked at the bottom of the stairs there, remember this night is like crystal clear, not a cloud in the sky. There is just a puff of, I don't know, the size of it, maybe by 15 feet wide, like a clump of fog, just dense clump of fog chilling over the lamppost, which was really strange. And I got a creepy vibe. As soon as that happened, I'm like, something isn't right here. There's this, I'm looking out, there's nothing, there's not a cloud in the sky. And now you have this cloud hovering over this lamppost. So I'm like, I'm out, I'm going up the stairs. So I start bolting up the staircase. The strange thing about this, and this is basically the end of the first experience, is when I went up the stairs, I'm looking back real quick to see if that light is like coming back at all, because now I'm a little bit freaked out. But as I go up towards and start walking up, it is like all of a sudden the fear starts dissipating that I had, which wasn't a ton of fear. It was still more euphoria and peace. Now I feel like I am gliding up the stairs. It is so effortless to get up these stairs where I'm skipping every other step. So that supernatural strength is what it feels like, to the point where I'm like laughing to myself.
Right,
Like,
tell me something, guys. Right, I've paused the video. Can you hear the this TV in the background? Just try to test something. Can you hear TV going in the background? And if you can't, tell me how loud it is. It's not loud for me, so I don't think you can hear it that well. Gold, what?
That'll be the loudest.
No, I just want to know. I just want to know, just for out of curiosity.
Gold cup. Fucking yeah.
And it's all the same intro.
Hanging the tune, pumped up with steroids, dude. There's no doubt that Frank Bruno took steroids back in the day. That wasn't a natural build he had when he was fully. You can't hear it. Good. Barely in and out. Maybe just there. That's all good. All good. Cool. It was just. I just wanted to know. I knew they had it low. I just wanted to know. For instance, it's all good. Nice.
You've never had the TV on while you've been on.
Never. I've never had it on before, so I don't know.
Put it on. You've always
No.
put the TV on, and I've always said no.
No, I've always said to him, put the TV on. He never had. So, like, I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know what it sounds like. Oh, Baz has now said it. Is that Harry? And it's his brother Nathan. Say hi, Nathan.
Yeah, right. You got to say Baz.
That's Nathan and Harry.
You don't even know who Baz is, but
Baz is cool.
And every time that he got on the chat, anytime I'm there, he just
Yeah, man.
so I just go Baz. I mean,
But-
every day that he just been on stream for as long as I've run.
Yeah, man. It's like a good relationship. You know what I mean? You don't see each other, but you get to talk. Martin says, all right, Nathan, mate. He says, all right, mate. Baz says, Harry, Nathan, cheers, got cheese. Right, let's continue.
like, this is insane. This doesn't make any sense. But I get like 3/4 of the way up. And any other day, if I would have gone that fast up that staircase, I would have been probably bent over, panting, exhausted.
Ooh.
Nothing. To the point where I remember a thought.
Very good, didn't it? I'd be bent over, puffing and panting.
That went through my head. I'm like, I looked at my hand like, am I still alive? And that's how tripped out I was at this point. I'm like, this is weird. Heart's doesn't even, it's beating, but it doesn't feel like there's anything except for just a regular heartbeat. Like, doesn't make any sense. I'm not breathing hard. And then once again, at that moment, my iPhone goes off. It's FaceTime. I never FaceTime with anybody. FaceTime with my kids.
You just said phone. Why did you say iPhone? It's not a status thing here, bro.
That was it. When I was on the road, didn't FaceTime with friends, family members. There was also no number.
All right, Sonny, nice
so
one,
my
bro.
phone's going off, which startled me. And when I saw it was FaceTime, there
Sorry, nice one, Sonny, bro. Bless you, man.
was no number, and knew that I don't FaceTime with anybody except for my kids. That's when I'm like, I'm done. And a spark of fear came in, got back, went inside, and my wife and I were going through, essentially, we're going to get separated at this point. And I remember she was still up in the kitchen, and we weren't talking a lot. I mean, you're going through divorce, and it's a bummer because she had to deal with like all this depression and all the weird stuff that was going on that I couldn't explain. But she knew something was going on when I walked in, and she was in the kitchen, and I was like, check this out. And she kind of looks at it like, yeah, that's weird. And not much of a response, and which I understand. A lot of people are like, who cares? You saw something in the sky, not a big deal. But she could tell I was kind of freaked out. But anyways, that was the end of what I consider the hook, line, and sinker, almost like gotcha at that point. Something had, based on what I believe, based on the experience, something captured me at that point, or at least a fraction of me, to where I can explain what happened after that going forward.
Yeah, but let's camp here for a little bit, and because I have a few questions and
Yeah, sure.
a few comments to make. It's first of all a very I don't think I even have an adjective to describe what this kind of story is like. But there's a lot of things in there that are interesting. I do want to point out one thing, that I've listened to many UFO encounters, and the phenomena of like missing time is something that comes back a lot, which is something that happened to you. The person's not really aware, but time
That's what I was just saying.
time seems
Said that about 10 minutes ago, didn't I? About the time, well, 20 minutes ago, the time thing, the missing time. It's always a common concept. It's always a common thing said when it comes to like abductions and stuff like that. So, and I don't think everyone's lying about it. I just obviously think it's not what they think it is, you know? So, yeah, it's a common thing. Everybody seems to notice that.
to like skip, and I don't claim to exactly know how it is. I've heard theories, but at least that's something that is congruent with a lot of other experiences. Didn't seem to be well, I'm going to ask you actually, did it seem to be a physical? You seemed like to say that it was shifting up in the sky or changing forms. Did you have the feeling this was physical? Like maybe what I mean by physical is like an airplane, like metals and things like that. Did it seem to be that, or did you seem like to think that it was something else?
No, it didn't seem material at all. It seemed like because it had materialized in, and I saw it when it materialized, it started doing the pulsing, and then when it expanded out into the light, or to like the Star of Bethlehem looking thing, it was still had this energy that was coming at it. Because I understand though, like that. In fact, it's funny you asked that, because in the recording that I have of the light, you don't see the actual light. You see something, and that is a bunch of white discs going back and forth, super clear looking white discs going back and forth like this, not the white light. Something weird though, and you can hear the ocean, but you hear me, and I didn't remember saying this, you just hear me going, that's not an airplane, that's not a satellite. That's all you hear in the video. So I was trying to figure out, like, what is this? So no, nothing material, and it was static too, except for the pulsing. It wasn't shifting around. It was just in one spot.
And I need to say, I've seen the video. It's definitely strange. We're going to go over it in the after show, like in detail, but I've seen it, and I also don't know what to make of it. So I just wanted to point that out. But
over the video in the after show, see, he does do a members only one that's to do with every testimony, and he's got extra parts of it. He puts that under the membership thing, so we won't see that bit. Shouldn't do that. You should actually use the video and the testimony if you're going to use it. But mind you, it's a testimony, so you're meant to just be taking his word for it. It would have been good to see that video. That's just my point.
Now, after this encounter,
hold on, just let me check, because like, if you do this and go to his channel, hold on, am I still on? Yeah. Right. So if you go to his videos, you'll see what I mean. He's got kind of this one here. This is the one we're doing here. So he's got this one, and then the nuclear town with secret government projects, 28 minutes, and that's members only. So UFO. So this is going to have that footage in it. The one that's free, these bigger, longer one, the testimony doesn't. See, even this one down here says extra footage, but he puts them behind the membership. I mean, it's a way of making money. It's not what I would do, but you know, whatever. I think that should just be made available. But that's me. Look, he's got near 250,000 subs. Surely he's making a little bit at least. He doesn't have to put that behind a membership. But whatever. Okay. Anyway.
This whole, maybe like 30-minute, 45-minute thing, which seemed to you like maybe 5 or 10. The days after that, did anything change? Was there anything that happened, or was it just like something that happened once and you kind of moved on with life?
No, this was just the beginning of it. And so there was about 2 weeks after this.
Oh, that's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility if it's true, but we don't get to see any of the footage. So, but I mean, I'm not saying he's lying, but I was just saying I'd like to see that footage. It's not him. It's the guy's channel who's put it behind the membership. I like to see when he comes to Christ how he thinks about this now. If he knows that it's demons, or well, I think he's bound to, because the title of his side is the UFO Contactee explains why aliens are not what we've been told. So, like, yes, they are. They're demons. So I dare think I dare say that's what he's alluding to. So this is his second encounter at this point. Okay.
I sent you this video too. This is where I explain it like life turned into the Twilight Zone. Like it was just, I can't even explain it. Just strange stuff happening all around me where I'm like, this reality must be different than I thought. And I've shifted into some other dimension.
And then that would give people the illusion of possibly simulation or multiple dimensions, so much damage it can do,
Either that or I've gone crazy. I couldn't rationalize it. And so that's where your world starts getting turned upside down, and why I want to share this story, because I know other people have experienced strange stuff like this they can't explain.
That's right.
And 2 weeks after this, I remember I was packing up in my in the beach house because I was getting ready to move into an apartment down the street. And as I'm packing up, I remember my 6-year-old son is upstairs, and he was
again. The link is always in there if anybody wants to come and panel. Link's always there.
Calling down to me like, hey Dad, can you come up and fix my bed? The thing is broken off of it again. And I responded like, yeah buddy, I'll be up there in a minute. And as soon as I did that, I turned to the side, and it was like a wall, like an invisible wall had hit me, right? I explained it like goo. I was like I could move, but I couldn't go very far. And it was like a dense patch of something
Twilight Zone
in front of me that I was like, now what the heck's going on now? I have no idea why I can't move forward.
We just watched the Twilight Zone movie from the 80s the other day. We just watched it the other day with what's his face in it? Dan Aykroyd was in it. The dude from Footloose, the preacher from Footloose. What's his name again? John. Can't remember the last name, but it's John something. Funny, we just watched that the other day.
And I get that same thought in my head, kind of like, but super intense, more intense than the first night when I couldn't sleep and was having those incessant thoughts of going down to the beach. This was like, get outside, go look up in the.
And Bart Simpson, Nancy Cartwright. You're right. Nancy Cartwright was in the Twilight Zone. Nice one. Yeah, Nancy Cartwright was there. I couldn't believe it was her, bro. Couldn't believe it was her.
The sky now. And so I'm like, okay, I bust through what seems like this fog. I go through the garage straight out towards where my car is parked. And this is the weird stuff. And this just became normal to me. That's the strange thing, is I get out there and I just look straight up at like a 45. And that's the video I show you where there's a couple things that are strange about this video. I can't tell exactly how far the what looks like this oval super bright light is just kind of hovering in the sky. Maybe I'm guesstimating a mile, but it's just sitting there kind of chilling in the sky. And I didn't really get the euphoric feeling this time though. It was like I was just looking at it, and I was videotaping it. So I start videotaping it, and it goes for like a minute and a half. But at the end of that video, a little tiny orb comes down in the upper right hand corner of the camera, just kind of cruises by this light that's standing there. That light starts kind of oscillating and pulsing, and then appears that it develops lights on tips of wings. Like, it was not a plane. It's very evident in the video, unless somebody sees something different. And then it's like almost like it was trying to disguise itself as a plane. But as soon as it did that, the video shut off on its own. So video goes done. I didn't end it. I wanted to keep filming. And at that point, I just headed back inside. And that is when, after that particular little episode, which was the second sighting in a 2-week period, that's when the automatic writing started. And I didn't even know what automatic writing was, but now I understand after I researched it and things. I was just dumping information on paper Didn't know why, but I had to get it out of my head because it was like I was being infiltrated with thoughts that I could not explain, that if I did not put it down on paper, it was like spaghetti thrown against a wall. I knew it was spaghetti, but what do you do with it? And so I would try to organize it, and I'll stop there, but I can go into the automatic writing because that stuff got crazy. It was like information that none of this I was interested in, but the information that was coming through was crazy.
Before we get to the automatic writing, I want to ask about the second encounter. I have seen lights in the sky, and then
with Martin, that long stream you were on about, PG, I made about half an hour. The Aussie film, then blank. I see. So you came over to Rumbleways then. The Aussie film, what was it? What was the Aussie film? How long ago was that? What Aussie film was it? The few Aussie films have done. I mean, the Chopper. I can't remember which film it was. How long ago was it?
and looks long enough, it turns out to be a plane. What made you think that this definitely was not a plane?
First of all, the same feeling that I got, and when
I do long streams every weekend, Matt, and they're always at least 7 hours long because I start off on YouTube and go over Rumble, don't I? So, but Rumble's on all the time. I just have to cut the YouTube side off because we can't do copyright here. Wasn't the one a couple of days ago? No, Aussie film. Oh, Charlize Theron. Oh, Apex. He's on about Apex. That was 2 nights ago. Yeah, we watched Apex the other night. Yeah, guys, Apex. Did you watch it? I didn't think it was great. The trailer was good, and because of that little video was good, but Apex, it wasn't that great. I didn't think it was that good at all, man. I thought it'd be all right. It wasn't that good. Yeah. It was garbage. Yeah, it was everything nowadays is garbage.
I thought when it started and it started kicking off, I thought this is going to be rigged.
Right, because he did seem like a mental case.
And I thought it was going to be really entertaining, but it was just literally
Stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, it was a mental case, and then it was a shit ending.
Yeah, it was garbage. You must have crashed. Well, it's just as well you crashed, man. It wasn't that great. I don't even. Did we score it that night? Did we do an average on it with the calci and that? I think if we did, was that not the 6.3 recurring? It was. We gave it a score average of 6.3. All right, we gave it an average of 6.3 recurring. Yeah, that film, and that was because like we did like give individual scores and then took them all together and averaged it. You know what I mean? And it was 6.3, and that's not a good score for us. Anyway, continue.
I knew exactly where to look. There it was. And if you take a look at the video, it's pretty tough to say it's a plane. In fact, I remember consciously going, you know what? I need to keep the roofs, the top of the roofs in the frame so that nobody can say this is a plane. It wasn't like I wasn't out to like prove, what was going on with me, but I definitely wanted to document depending on how far this went. And so I sat there, and if you watch it in the video, it's extremely bright. It's an oval, almost like it looks like a typical UFO disc saucer, right? But it's not metallic. It's just super bright white, and it's shimmering. It's just kind of going like this. And then the fact that an orb comes down in the upper right-hand corner. So I totally understand, being skeptical about this stuff. I'm questioning my whole reality at this point. So that particular video didn't surprise me after I told a couple buddies, though, after this, and I showed it to them, and they lived in the area. And I was trying to share with them kind of gently, like, not everything, but, dude, I'm like...
You say keek, I say keek, with a CH rather than a K. A jobby. We want it.
Have you ever seen any of this stuff, like down where we live?
That's what the doctor used to say to us. He never used to say jobby, though. The doctor, when we were kids, you go when you were ill to the doctor, he'd say, when was the last time you had a job? And like, as kids, you used to think, well, what do you mean a job? It's like too young to work. But he meant a jobby. But the doctor used to say, when's the last time you took a job? What? What about a job? He meant a key.
And I remember one of them specifically is like, oh man, he goes, he was a tattoo artist. He goes, I was just talking.
He might have been a jobby jobber.
To one of the girls I tattoo on, and she was telling me about how she's been seeing orbs down at the beach close to where you're at, And she says they end up turning into planes every time. And I thought, okay, well, that makes more sense now.
Interesting. I don't know
Yeah.
what to make of it, but
A lot of this, man, I don't know what to make of it.
There you go. I don't know what to make of it because it is fantastical, but people's minds can be mad, and I know what demon influence can be like. You know what I mean?
so let's go back to the
Good
automatic
spot,
writing.
yeah.
So you have these thoughts to just like compulsive thoughts to write things down, but it doesn't seem to be coming from you. Could you understand what you were writing? What kind of things were you writing? Can you maybe describe that?
Yeah, it was ridiculously strange because this information that's coming through that I'm writing down, I feel like I'm compelled to write it. Almost like it doesn't scare me, but at the time, if I would have known maybe what was happening, I probably would have been a little bit more fearful because it was like something had a portion of me to take this information down. So a couple of reasons I say that. The information coming through was obviously not information I had experience with, right? And I'll get into what the information was. But the other thing that was very strange about it is the penmanship. When I would take these, I remember getting a journal from CVS, and after about a week, that thing was full, and it was, a journal like that thick, but the penmanship would be perfect. And I never had bad handwriting, but this was perfect to the point was like, I've never been able to write like this. And it wasn't like I would get exhausted and the penmanship would fade and get a bit.
Is he talking? So he's just talking about writing down his experiences. I thought he was on about automatic writing for a second.
Little bit more sloppy. I would just keep going, perfect penmanship, and then I would also draw diagrams because I was drawing like I would put out mathematical formulas.
Even that can be classed as automatic writing to be demonic, like even what you're drawing, but where's it coming from? I mean, if it's not coming from your own ideas and your own concepts made up in your head, then it's got to be coming from an outside source, isn't it? So, hence, therefore, demonic.
As diagrams, if I drew a circle, for example, it'd be a perfect circle. And something to add.
Draw a perfect circle. Nobody. Not even the first person that drew the perfect circle wasn't perfect. It was as perfect as could be for a man drawing it, but it wasn't perfect, I don't think. I mean, what is a perfect circle anyway? There's only instruments and machines that can do it. They don't really occur in nature, do they? Perfect circles. They're obviously a man-made thing. Because in nature, you don't see, even in flowers, they're not perfect circles. They've all got a pattern to them, but they're not perfect circles and stuff. But I don't know. I think thought comes from the ether. I don't know about ether. I'm not sure on ether, bro.
Onto that because a lot of this stuff.
Depends on what type of ether you're on about. Talking about the ghostly ethereal or ether that some flat earthers believe in. I don't know. I'm not sure on it.
Start coming to me is because there was so much craziness going on that when I tell the story, I remember. The other thing is during this period of time when I was taking these journals, all of a sudden I felt compelled to actually go and start drawing things. And for like a 6-month period, and then it faded. For like a 6-month period, I was
I've heard that, Matt, and I haven't looked too much into it. I'm not too sure on it being the fulfillment. That it is a possibility. I do agree on that. I have done some bits on it, but I haven't gone deep into it. So, like I say, I'm not too sure on it.
Pretty decent artist. Like I would look at stuff and be like, "Whoa!" I remember one day I was drawing some stuff at home, and my kids come home, and my wife at the time.
It would be worth doing a stream on it someday. Looking more into it, you know what I mean?
It was like, dude, did you draw that? I'm like, yeah. They're like, that's crazy good. I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't know where it's coming from, but that artistic ability that faded. I could do it though for a short period of time. But the information I was putting into those
either lost knowledge or made up knowledge, which is not really knowledge, it's lies, isn't it? But if it's lies, because I'm not too sure on it, but it's worth looking into, bro. It really is. To find out either way. Whether you find out either way or not, still good to look into it.
Journals. This is where I don't know, pyramids, Mars, Reincarnation was a big one. Bigfoot. So remember, not into any of this stuff. And
yeah, I think a lot of people think it's mad, but there's some credit to Bigfoot, especially when you think of the Nephilim, when you know about the Nephilim, which is kind of, it's in scripture, but kind of just a little bit, especially with Enoch not being in canon, you know. So, yeah, if you think about the Nephilim situation, coming from the water angels, meeting the women, and having these hybrids, then it's a possibility that Bigfoot could be a descendant of Nephilim and things like that, you know. So there is really monsters in this world.
the mathematical formulas. And from there, all I could really do, if you want to kind of sum it up as time went on, is I started to realize, without really knowing it, that this is like quantum-based information coming in that I have no
I'm not
background
sure
with.
on this quantum stuff. Like quantum just means very small. But all this quantum stuff, I mean, I'm not too sure on all this.
But
because a lot of it's science fiction-y, you know what I mean? Very science fiction.
Writing things down like frequency and vibration and
almost like you've got another universe, but it's small. It's, you know, like in the Ant-Man. That was quantum based.
a lot of it was like the whole typical, when I look back at it now, like love and light and being a good person. So it was really good stuff. It was like, hey, this is great. Almost like it was trying to groom me into, we're going to give you some really good information here. And I think that was, you know, any sort of lie, there's going to be 90% truth maybe to it. So a lot of this stuff made a lot of sense. And when I'm reading it, the strange thing is I'm like, there's no way this came from me. I don't know about any of this stuff, and I don't have any interest in any of it, and I still don't have any interest in it. What is it? That was the hard part, is trying to put it all together. But as time went on, I found a way to kind of dissect, and took years, but I could kind of get the feeling of what was happening.
So in the beginning, when this was happening, you were trying to rationalize it and say, like, oh, this may be because I'm not sleeping or whatever excuses you were talking about. At this point of the story,
it has ant in the middle.
Did you understand that this was coming from something else, or did you still try to rationalize it?
I knew it was coming from something else, but I wanted to think, of course, you want to think that it's something good, right? So I'm starting to think, well, maybe maybe this is what the God thing that
giant Kandahar. Who's Kandahar? Let me just check. Kandahar. Yeah. So. Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. Kandahar Giant is a popular military urban legend and internet myth claiming that U.S. soldiers encountered and killed a 12-foot, 15-foot tall, red-haired, six-fingered humanoid. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. It gets put down to like mythological when it's possible. I think these things are possible. Without a doubt, because there's been so many things of giants and so many things that are petrified that looks like giants, you know. And we know, like it says in the days of Noah, you know, in the end it's got to be like the days of Noah. And in the days of Noah, this was common. This was commonplace. So even all these myths ain't true. They could be based on true stuff that happened, you know. But yeah, okay. I didn't know about that story. Got ya.
Everybody's talked about that I never really explored, because I'd lived that life where I was kind of like under the impression of, you know, it's arrogant. I wasn't an arrogant person, but it's a spiritual, arrogant way.
It's like the series we're doing on here, Supernatural. The series we watched Supernatural. I've already gone through it once, and it was through Nathan actually that I watched Supernatural. Because of Nathan, I watched the whole. That's Harry's brother. Because of him, I watched I'd already seen a few episodes, but then I decided to do the whole 15 seasons. And that's what we're doing now. We're on second season now here with the guys. We're doing it every weekend. But they use biblical stuff. They use Gnostic stuff. They use all stuff that's been written down and mythical stuff. And it's obviously fantasy. It's obviously fantasy, but it's a lot of these things are probably based off stuff and writings from real life and things that actually happened. Not that the actually stories that you're getting told are true, but it's based on that. You know what I mean? I wish in Supernatural they'd mentioned Christ a bit more, but they didn't. They mentioned God and his sister and all that, but not Christ. And then the Antichrist becomes God, which is not good, but the Supernatural series is fantastic. It's great. But yeah, even like, you know yourself, guys, like movies and all that are all bullshit, but the stuff that they show in them are actually based on probably real life things that have happened in the past and that, you know. Superman and that, based on angels, stuff like that, you know what I mean? You watching? No, I'm not. I haven't been watching. When's it starting? I didn't know it was even this year. I haven't followed football for a while, man. To be honest, a lot of the years I was on drugs, but since I've been off drugs, I haven't yet got back into football. Obviously, I like a national game in that, so it's. As soon as I get interested in it, I'll start watching it again. Definitely. I just need to get more active, which I have been getting a little bit more active lately. So I just haven't followed them in a while. Are you a Motherwell supporter, or are you part of the old firm between Celtic and Rangers?
When I look back now, it's like, well, who needs God if everything in my life is kind of going the way that I want? You know, I put my mind to something.
So when next week it's 10 days till Scotland game, right? So you're a Motherwell, mate. Fair play, fair play. I mean, I'm fifth raised, but like I say, and I used to as a kid support Aberdeen. But then me and my brother had a rivalry, and he supported Aberdeen, so I decided to support someone else. And I went with Dundee United for a little bit because I liked their kit. And then I went with Rangers because I like Rangers in the end, and that was in there. Late 80s. Rangers was actually top of the league at the time. And it wasn't glory hunting. I just liked how they played football. So I liked Rangers. I was a Rangers supporter. And I have been ever since. I just haven't supported them. You know what I mean?
And it happens. And so I started going, okay, well, maybe this is God trying to talk to me, or angels or something like that. And that's where I believe, you know, before getting ahead of ourselves, that's exactly what it wanted me to think, because it was a lot of positive stuff, a lot of positive information. And before I forget, because there's so much of it, and this is kind of a message to the people that experience the New Age, right? The New Age, I didn't even know what New Age was. But when I started...
Really? That's good. You played for them. I played for them, broke draw with Phil O'Donnell, but broke my heel. Your knee, mate, at 17. Oh, it's a shame, man. What, was you in the boys' club? Was you in the boys' club? Or was you actually on the full man team? Played one pro game against St Mirren. Dude. Against the Black and Whites. Were they Black and White? Are they the Magpies? Are they called Magpies? No, they're not. I'm thinking of an English team, but they're black and white like them, aren't they? That's Gibraltar. Hold on. Saints, that's right. They're called the Saints. Magpies are an English team that are in black and white. But they're in black and white, aren't they? St Mirren. Wow. That's good, man. That's good. So were you in the boys' team beforehand?
Researching some of the stuff that was being messaged to me, I realized it was part of the quote-unquote New Age ideology. Things like the Pleiadian Council, love and light, messages for humans. And it was all very clear that that's where it was leading, to the point where some of the stuff I was writing down literally was a whole section on the Pleiadian Council. And I'm like, whatever that is, I'm just going to keep noting. And it was breaking down how this council worked. And for it, once again, this information would come into my head, and then it seemed like it would dissipate as far as me really remembering
no
what
way.
it was.
You played with David Cooper. No way. Played with Davy Cooper, my claim to fame. I joined Motherwell when I was 12. So, yeah, there you go. You're on the boys' team. Nice. Nice. Davy Cooper. Let me just root Davy Cooper. I'm sure he was still playing when I was about. Sure he was. Let me just see his face again. Come on. Why aren't you playing? Died. Maybe not. And he's from Hamilton in Scotland, isn't he? I obviously played. I remember him playing for Scotland. I'm 50 as well. I'm 50 this year as well, Martin. So I would have minded his matches when I was a band, but he probably wasn't playing. Let me just find out when he retired. Did not officially. Oh, right. Hold on. Did not officially retire, as his playing and coaching career was tragically cut short. So he was probably coaching. He was still coaching in 95 and playing in 95. So Davy Cooper. Was he still playing for Rangers when I supported them? Because this strip's a little too early for me. The first strip that Rangers had when I supported them was. Let me show you. The first strip Rangers had when I supported them. Rangers strips. Rangers strip, not strop. Strip. It is. And every team was kind of the same. This one with the squares in it. That one with the squares and the stud. That's the strip Rangers had when I first started supporting them. That one there with a stud. And every team pretty much had that same thing. Squares and studs at the same time. McEwen's lager. And I think Celtic was C.R. Smith at the time. Ha! Mad. Anyway, that's off topic. What am I like?
Was all about. When I take a look at the notes, I would look back a couple weeks later. I'm like, this is insane. Like, what is this stuff? The point being is, if he
left 3 weeks after Souness came, I already started supporting Rangers by the time Souness was playing. Souness was playing by the time I started supporting him. But I do remember Davy Cooper playing for Scotland, man. Sorry. Saying sorry. All right, sorry, he's gone. I thought you were saying sorry about the strip. Because it was Rangers. No, absolutely. I mean, 1995. He was only born in the 50s. So he wasn't young.
you're involved, I want to be careful because I don't want to, it's not for me to tell people what to believe. I'm not here to offend people or be condescending, but I can tell you that the ideology that was coming through matches almost perfectly to what I see in the new age. And that is, let's just build you up so that you can get on a higher vibration and frequency and do the same things that Jesus did. Bottom line, I'm just telling the truth. That's what it was when it was all said and done.
You talked about things being like having good messages, but it's important also to say that it wasn't only good. Like if I just remember some of the things that you talked about, the feeling of there's absolute creepiness in the things that you talk about. The voice coming from the phone, the fog on top of the lamppost, and the feeling of.
Hold on. So Davy Cooper's last match for Rangers was May 13th in 1989. So I think I just started supporting him around about that time, 88 or 89. So I must have seen him play for Rangers, just couldn't remember it. I remember McCoy, Mark Walters, Graham Souness. There were so many names, I'd have to think of them, but they were like the main names. Mark Walters was doing the left side. McCoy was a striker, I think, at the time. So I obviously remember David Cooper. He's well known in Scotland, obviously. So, okay. Bit of nostalgia there.
Of dread and fear that was accompanied. Like, sure, there were some things that felt, but it wasn't the only thing. So I think it's important to talk about this. But I do want to go back to the information you would get, because in the previous interview that I've seen where you were telling your testimony, you talked about, among the other things like pyramids and Bigfoot and all of that, something.
Chris Woods was the Rangers goalie at the time. He was a brilliant goalie. He was English. He wasn't Scottish, but Chris Woods was a brilliant goalie. I think he was a fantastic goalie. Great goalie. But I used to think he was Scottish just because he played for Rangers. Then I found out he was English. Now he's actually English, isn't he, Chris Woods? So was obviously Matt Waters. There was a lot of English players. I remember at one point it was mainly Scottish players, but it get to the point where it was kind of half and half. There was a lot of English international in Rangers. There was Rangers and Celtic, I think. Rangers and Celtic used to get a lot of the English Premier players. That's true.
Coming out of you is called the law.
It's mainly been Celtic and Rangers for a long time, isn't it? I mean, yes, a lot of other people have came back here and there, but being the richest teams, then like 10 years ago, maybe a bit more, was it? Rangers actually went back to the 3rd division because of money situations, I think. Obviously, they're back in the Premier, but they went back to... I remember when there wasn't a Premier division. I remember when it was just First Division. And below.
One. Now, I don't really know what it is, but I would like you to talk about it. Like, how much was that in your writing? And when you looked it up, like, what was that about?
Hearts are a good team at one point as well. Aberdeen were good in the 80s, early 80s, mid 80s. Aberdeen, they were good. Dons. Hearts were good. Absolutely. Hibs have been good. There's loads, really. What about Kilmarnock at one point? Motherwell. I suppose they've had their little times here now.
Yeah, sorry. So if the audience is confused here, so I'm trying to keep it chronological. This is like at the very beginning, right? The very beginning stages of that automatic writing was started happening probably 6 months in.
So he himself calls it automatic writing. So I was right, automatic writing. I know you have. I know you have. I know. Dundee United as well. Dundee. I remember when Fraser played Dundee in the 80s, but it was obviously it wasn't a league game. Obviously, Fraser has never been in the Premier League. I think they're as far as the Highland League.
To that, and you're right. There was the kind of that creepy feeling that would come in every once in a while. Quite honestly, looking back, I think the good feeling overwhelmed it, and that was part of it, right? It's almost like I was like, well, yeah, some of it doesn't feel right, but I'm just going to run with it here, right? Which is probably a mistake. I'm sure it was a mistake looking back. But the Law of One, that was another interesting thing where I had, once again, in perfect penmanship, written across the top of the page, the Law of One. I didn't know what the Law of One was, so I start going and researching it. And if you take a look at it, essentially, in a nutshell, it's like 3 people back, it's very well documented, 3 people back in the early 80s had gotten together, and they were trying to meditate in and essentially contact another consciousness, or what they would call ETs, right? Like extraterrestrials, if possible.
Well, if they're doing that, it's not aliens they're contacting, it's demons, without a doubt.
So they would...
Wait, I'll leave this playing and make a coffee, guys.
Would have... her name was Carla Ruckert. She would be what they called the medium. So she would be the one, the instrument, essentially, that would try to receive this information. And then they would meditate around her, but they would also log this stuff. So it's all completely documented. So they would ask questions, and it's a channeling, right? That's what they call it. So they would ask these questions, and then they would ask, the information would come in. And I started thinking as I read that, I'm like, this is kind of exactly what's happening to me, but I'm not asking anything. Like, it seems like something's coming in and I'm getting this information that you can't really make up. If you look at the Law of One stuff, it's the same thing. Like, it's so convincing, and it talks about like who the creator is and how creation works and all this stuff where it looks like the best scientific, science sci-fi movie, product that there would be. It's nuts. You look at it and you're like, nobody can really make this up. If they have, they deserve an award for it. It's crazy stuff. And so the law of one is something where I started going, man, what is the story here? I seem to be getting the same type of information these people are. You're still at a loss. Remember, I don't have any sort of biblical foundation. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. So any sort of grounding in truth, this is exactly why I tell this story, because when I look back on it, I was just getting like sucked deeper and deeper into a rabbit hole and I wasn't going to be able to explain what was happening. It was just convincing me that I was getting good information. So keep writing, right? Go with the flow.
And talking about explaining things, I'm sure that your family was aware at this point. You had you talked about your wife and your kids. Did you tell them about it? Did they notice? And if they did, what was their reaction to all of that?
Yeah. So remember, when you go through something like this, I can only speak on my experience. When your reality's twisted up and you don't understand what's going on and you can't really tell people, I'm not playing victim to it. It's a very lonely place to be. I don't want anybody to ever have to experience that. Plus, here's kind of the strategy behind, if you want to look at a big picture of it. To me, this was the enemy. Okay. This was the enemy coming in. And number one, get you isolated. All right. When you get isolated, everybody around you, I was a fun loving person that had a lot of friends before all this happened. And being in corporate and everything, you have a lot of different connections and everything else. Your life starts falling apart because you don't know what's happening to you. And it gets to the point where you don't even want to be around other people.
Aye, exactly, Martin. Basically summoning. Aye, exactly that. Exactly that. A bit of the old Aleister Crowley.
Because quite honestly, I was starting to get scared. I was like, what is happening to me? If I'm taking this information and I feel like I almost can't help but write it down, like I'm either getting really strange or something strange is happening to me. And so people around you start seeing, well, why is he isolating so much? I started drinking a ton because I'm like, I'm masking. I was at this point in the story, I could not sleep.
Well, if you drink a ton, man, you're going. I mean, can you imagine drinking a ton?
Sleep very well at night because there's more than just these sightings. I'm now starting to have regular occurrences with orbs, and this would happen usually middle of the night. A lot of times at 3 o'clock on the dot, where I'd be woken up out of a sleep, if I could even sleep.
There you go.
And I would feel like I would have.
That's another common thing. 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:15 in the morning, anywhere between 3 and 4 is like a lot of people consider it witching hour, but a lot of people seem to experience things around that time. And it makes sense because it's an inversion of 3 in the afternoon when Jesus was meant to be crucified 3 in the afternoon. So it's meant to be a 3:15 or something. It's meant to be an inversion of that. So I understand it, but it is a common claim when it comes to these things as well. 3 in the morning and onwards till 4, witching hour, they call it, I suppose.
To go outside, get the experience of the orbs and whatever, the experience that was going to be, so that I could get back and finally get to sleep. Because I knew if I didn't go out and have the experience, I wasn't going to be able to sleep. It would just be like this incessant nagging that's, okay, you got to get outside, get it over with, get back inside. Which is very strange, I know. But to answer your question, is that people start seeing is, yes, something's going on with this guy. And you have to be very careful with who you tell, because I'm thinking inside, in my head, I'm like, I can't be the only one experiencing this. I need to find out, like, who else is experiencing this? So I would kind of drop little hints here and there to people, but I couldn't.
Martin says, PJ, does Harry know it's not a ball flying through gay space? A little bit, yeah. He's in between. He knows that
I'm like 80% flat Earth.
He's 80% flat Earth. He knows that the sun. He knows that the sun ain't 93 million miles away. Yes, he's near. Yeah, he's pretty much there. But he's still got some doubts on things, obviously. Yeah. But he came to me when we first met. He came to me, and I was going to tell him about flat Earth, and he says, "Well, I know the sun ain't 93 million miles away. No, that's for sure. You know what I mean?" So we started off on that basis. But yeah, he pretty much knows. But he's obviously got some questions.
would not get anybody to bite. Like I would show them a video, like, hey, have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen orbs doing this? You know, down at the beach, or, you know, I'd be at my boat and there was other types of what looked like craft and things in other videos. And people would kind of, there's a different reaction. Close family members, especially my mom.
Absolutely, bro. Nice one, Ari. He knows what it means then. Absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously. Absolutely.
Pretty much lived this with me. My aunt lived this with me because they saw the video footage. They're like, babe, there's something going on with you and we don't know what's happening, right? And I couldn't explain it, but they saw me kind of deteriorating. Other people, like even close friends I had for years, it was almost like a switch would go off. If I would show them some of the footage and be like, try to kind of like a cry for help, like, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. I don't understand. Like, have you ever seen this before? It was almost like a switch would go off. And I think it's more like a fear mechanism where they would almost retaliate and almost attack. Like, no, dude, I don't know what that is. I don't want to see it. Or you're like a 9-year-old. What are you doing? Like looking for aliens or something? I got that response a couple of times. It was rare. Most of the time the response would be, and the few people I shared it would be, I don't know. Like I don't know what to tell you. I didn't know what to tell myself. So that was the typical reaction. One of the main reasons that I tell this story is when I went to a therapist, and this is where I actually had.
It's simples, innit?
£43.80.
Off of what? What did you put in?
£43 on one spin.
What did you put in?
Put in a tenner. He just got £50 hit on the pound spin.
Nice.
£48.
Nice.
Strategized going to the therapist because I wanted to see if I wanted to test to see how she'd react to this. And about 5 sessions in, she literally, we had really good rapport. She was probably in her mid-40s or kind of the same age. And she's like, Jason, I don't think you really need to, come back to more sessions if you don't want to. But I'm here if you need me. And I said, well, that's not really why I've been here. I want to get to the core of the issue. The reason I've been drinking so much, I think, and everything else and depressed is I'm experiencing this stuff. I don't know who to show. I'm like, you don't need to tell me anybody. You don't need to name names.
Exactly. You experience this stuff. Who are you going to with it? Who are you going to tell about it? They ain't got to call you a crackpot. You know what I mean? Because that's the common thing nowadays. It's like you experience or know things that are not in the norm, mainstream and all that. That's kind of a little out there. But even though they're true, you get called a crackpot.
I want to know from you is, have you ever had...
But the thing is, the elites know it. It's just the common people that don't know it. Not them all anyway.
Anyone share with you in your sessions that they're experiencing something like this? And she took the phone and she starts playing back some of the footage of some of the orbs that were going nuts on the screen, and just kind of a typical experience for me at that point. And she got kind of like wide-eyed, and it was almost like I watched.
Well, that's true. Normal shouldn't be in the dictionary nowadays because my normal is different from someone else's normal. So yeah, there's a bit of semantics going on now.
A robot go into a automatic.
I should say more like common than normal.
Let's go ahead and prescribe this guy now, whatever matches what I just saw. And she literally on the spot prescribed me schizophrenic for showing that video to her, which I was so angry, but I guess I was mad at myself. I was like, dude, you should have known better. You should have never brought this up. So now, you're schizophrenic. That goes into like a database, right? She's prescribing this. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, I'm never going to see my kids again. So that just made it worse. That was like a death sentence for me. And at that point, yes, everybody around me knew something was going on. At this point, I made the decision. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to stop it. I think it's best for me just to end this whole thing. I think I'll just drink myself to death. That was my mentality. And that's exactly what it wanted me to do. This whole...
Yep. Common, like uncommon sense. That's exactly what common sense should be called, because it's not that common anymore.
Force, this darkness. It was like laughing all the way to the spiritual bank. Got him isolated. He thinks he's crazy. Everybody else thinks he's crazy. He's hopeless. Battle won. And I didn't know how to get rid of this. I didn't know Jesus. I didn't know spiritual authority. No clue.
I need to say that I mean, I don't know this lady and I don't want to put a judgment on her, but it makes absolutely no sense to prescribe someone based on a video. Like if you had described it, I would have maybe more understanding, like, oh, it sees things in his head. But the whole idea of schizophrenia is there's things going on in your head, not
right. And that's the thing. How do you differentiate from schizophrenia to what's actually happening if you are ill? I mean, that's hard. I mean, that's got to be a Jesus incident to bring you out of it, I think.
on a video. So I don't know what she was thinking, but it makes me wonder how many people go through things like this and get diagnosed
A
with
lot.
things
That's
that
the
are
thing. That's the thing. A lot of people are actually experiencing this, even though it's not aliens. No, they're deceived in what it is. They're actually experiencing it, and they get diagnosed as ill when they're not. Mad, isn't it? Mad. That's how mad the world is.
totally wrong because they just have weird encounters like you have. Who really knows? But I'm sure that it's a lot more than just you. I can maybe leave it at that.
There certainly is a lot more than just him. And like I say, a lot of them are lying. A lot of them are crackpots. A lot of them are just ill. A lot of them are a few of them together. But a lot are telling the truth. Just don't know what it is.
So very clearly, when these things start going down, your life goes downhill. It was already not going too well before, but just seems like it went down a pretty steep slope. What did you do, like after, or maybe at the point that we stopped? Like, what direction did your life take after that?
So to put it, I guess, on a timestamp so the audience kind of knows where we're at. So I'm at the point where this is 2019, early mid 2020. And so let's just call it mid 2020. And I'm at the point where I'm giving up. I don't know what these experiences are, having them all the time. I do have people that believe me. They don't know what to tell me. I left out too. This is where, and this is important, I had never experienced any sort of paranormal activity before. You know, the typical
Mid 2020 as well, wasn't that COVID times when everybody was going a little bit mad? But demons would be working extra hard, I suppose. Fallen angels, stuff like that.
things you would see like on the ghost shows and things. But there was something going on in my apartment for sure. And that started happening pretty quickly after the first few sightings. And I wanted to try to kind of blow it off, but it was the typical stuff. Stuff would shift around on my coffee table, shelves by themselves. But the darkness that came into that apartment was evident. There was something happening. There was a creepy vibe that
Did he see them shifting, or was it shifted afterwards? Like he went away and it's like, I should have put that there, but then it was over there.
came into the apartment, to the point where I didn't even feel comfortable having my kids over, because I could tell that they had mentioned a few times, like when they had come over, that this place I don't really care for. It wasn't me. Like, we were having a great time together. They just didn't like the apartment, and I knew why. I'm like, I know why. This place has got a weird vibe to it, and I ended up getting out of there pretty quick.
Martin, it's okay. I spoke about this months ago, a couple of months ago, right? Martin just says, Peter, sorry, keep changing topic. But a few months ago, my daughter said over dinner she can't picture or imagine, and that she never had an inner monologue. Say what apparently around 30% of us. I only found this out about a few months ago, and I did a video on it. It was part of another stream, but I was a little video and I showed it. And I says I didn't know myself that. I thought, and Derek was in the stream at the time, he was talking about it. And I said, I thought everybody had an inner soliloquy, an inner monologue. And sometimes, because I said to people, if you hear me talking, it's just me thinking. If I'm not talking directly at you, it's me thinking out loud, like my inner monologue coming out audibly. And then I find a video that people say that they don't have that. They have to speak things out to remember it because they don't have pictures or an inner monologue in their head and dialogue that's in their head. And I thought everybody had that, but apparently not everybody has that. Yeah, we did a video on this, bro. We did a video on this. It is fascinating because I thought everybody had an inner monologue, like they thought in their head, and sometimes it comes out audibly, or like you're talking in your head. You know it. You have a conversation in your head, even with somebody before it happens. But some people don't have that, and I don't understand that because I thought everybody had that, an inner soliloquy, an inner monologue, but they haven't apparently. That's nuts to me. That was nuts to me. Yeah, it's fascinating, man. It's very fascinating. I can't get my head around it. Honestly. I actually said this to Harry a few months ago when I first heard about it, that not everybody's got an inner monologue. It blew my mind. I thought everybody did. That means people walk about when they're not talking and they're not thinking. That it's like they're not thinking. It's like they're an NPC to me. And I mean, it's like they're just an automaton, just I don't know, just walking along and not think. It seems like they're not thinking. If you don't have an inner monologue, how can you be thinking? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's a new thing to me, bro. It's a new thing to me. It's a new thing to me. But we did a video on it. I think it was a month ago or 2 months ago, something like that. Well, it was a live stream, but I just brought it up in the live stream, showed a video and stuff. It's nuts.
So I am at that point where I'm alone, and it's over COVID too, right? So most people are isolated, and I'm going through this hardcore stuff.
I'm on mute. Sorry, I was talking. That's what I mean. How can you not be thinking? I mean, it's weird because, like, even when you sit and watch TV and you're just engrossed in it or whatever you're doing, you're engrossed in it, you still have an inner monologue thinking other things. Sometimes I have to stop myself thinking to be able to take notice of the other thing I'm meant to be doing. It's so weird to me, man. Really mad.
Where I can't explain what's happening. Reality is twisted upside down. There's no explanation. And I literally start going, okay, well, plans are, I guess, it's just I can't seem to.
Exactly, Martin. I just thought everybody thought constantly. We can be absent-minded, but even when you're absent-minded, you're thinking.
Find any other way to mask this, which sounds like an excuse until you're kind of in it. It's like alcohol was the only thing that would slow down those thoughts that were coming into my head.
That means if you haven't got an inner monologue, the only things that make you think is external and not internal. How can that be? How can it be the only things that make you think is outside of you? That I don't get that. That's mental to me. That's nuts. Weird.
That seemed like it was 24/7. This bombardment of whatever, however you want to label it, telepathic thought form that was coming in. It was so quick all the time.
No, I don't deal with meditation and stuff like that. No, the only thing it tells me to meditate on is the word, and that means think about what the scriptures say. It just means think hard on what they say. It doesn't mean to say hum. I think that stuff's bullshit. It's all using stuff that's not of God. Yeah, I mean breathing and all that, all fine. That's all good. You know, just chilling. But when it goes into the proper like meditation, I don't think it's a good thing. Meditate on something, but not trying to empty yourself. No.
It felt like I was on hyperdrive all the time with my thoughts. And if I would drink, it would come down
to empty yourself. You're leaving yourself open for something to come in. You know what I mean?
Kind of a normal level, and I could chill. But then you can't do that because drinking always works until it doesn't, right? So you drink enough and you're going to end up spiraling.
Well, no, it never works. It just hides it. It just hides it. That's it. So, but I get what your sentiment is. I get what you're saying.
So I'd gone to a 30-day alcohol rehab treatment, try to get better. That didn't really work. 30 days usually never does. But I started realizing like there's nothing in these sessions that I'm not getting tools for what I'm dealing with. Like I can't tell people what I'm dealing with. Like this has nothing to do. The alcohol is a byproduct, right? That's the way I looked at it. Even though I did have a problem with alcohol, obviously I'm drinking too much to cover all this stuff up. So that's not an excuse for the behavior of drinking too much. Just like that's not the core of it. Core of it was a presence that I didn't understand.
I just want to test something, guys. AI, click the inner monologue conversation. I'm just want to test that. So when I generate AI clips afterwards that puts out shots of me, it says that if I say something to a video like to the AI, like AI clip, whatever, it'll do it. So I want to see if it automatically does that now. So AI clip the inner monologue conversation.
Understand. So at this point, I'm pretty much going to the point where I'm just gonna drink myself to death, and that's what I tried to do.
Nibble them out and nibble them. If I'm still on when you get back, I'll see you then, bro.
And a lot of people that that drink pretty much daily, I think
Cheers for being here, Gaj.
subconsciously or consciously, that's what they're trying to do. It's sad, but that's really what it is at some point.
So this whole thing of trying to drink yourself to death, how long did that last, and how did you come out of it?
So that was a little over a month, probably 5 weeks. And it was literally just door dashing vodka. And it was one of those things where I wouldn't go down.
Throw dashing vodka, but drinking it before I give it to the customers.
Like I'd drink the vodka, pass out, wake up, and I'd be bummed out.
Oh, he was ordering DoorDash. I see. I thought he was delivering. Right. Okay. My bad.
I wasn't gone. I'd do it all over again, order some more. I could barely type on the phone to even get the orders in. It was pathetic and sad at the same time, but I was at a loss, totally hopeless. And I'd been to treatment for 30-day treatments, 2 of those previous to this. And the second one I had been to, so the one before this whole vodka excursion, was probably a year before this, and I had met my friend Jason in there, so same name, and he had I ended up in the same room as him when I got to the recovery home. So you don't know who you're going to be in the room with. You're basically there just to detox, see the doctor, and get up the morning and start your program. And that night when I got there, he was in the room with me, and he was screaming like all throughout the night. And I thought, man, this guy's really going through it. He's coming off of something hard, but I couldn't wake him up. I was trying to see if he was okay. Went on all night long. Well, the next morning, I'm in the kitchen, and he walks in, and I'm like, hey, man, I was like, were you in the room with me last night? Like in that door right down the hallway? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. Was I snoring too loud? And I'm like, no, dude, you were screaming like all night long, and I could not wake you up. And he kind of like, I remember he's sitting at the fridge, and he shuts the door, and he's just like, yeah, dude, demons, man, demons. And at that point,
I believe that.
It kind of clicked. Like, I think there's a lot more to this. And I'm thinking that everything that I've heard as far as stories go in treatment and people talking about dark entities and battling what I thought were metaphorical demons, I'm like, I think these things are real. So we have a conversation.
When you're battling demons, you kind of have metaphorical demons, like, oh, decision, angel on shoulder, demon the other. Metaphorically, it's like, oh, what decision do I make? The one that's bad, the one that's good, that's metaphorical. But yeah, there is actual things fighting demons. No, there is actual fighting demons. So that's not the metaphorical side.
And he was open right off the bat, and he actually claimed, and this is why I know we were supposed to meet. Jason's no longer with us. He ended up passing away shortly after this, but he went on to tell me that he could see in the unseen realm, and he could see his whole life. He could see angels, he could see demons. And I was like, dude, I believe you, man. I was like, I think that I'm experiencing kind of the same stuff, and I don't know what it is. And so when I go through this whole like 30 days of trying to end it, he shows up on my door, and he knows it's serious because he's up in LA. So he's a couple hours away, but we've been talking on the phone, and he kind of shows up out of nowhere. He's got a bunch of groceries for me, and I'm out of it. I mean, I'm out of commission. My place is full of gnats, by the way. It was disgusting. It was a super nice apartment. That's how bad it got. I couldn't even move. I couldn't get out. All I could do is DoorDash the vodka and go back at it. And so he proceeds to, I remember, pull a chair up next to my bed. I kind of prop up, and he was always a really happy-go-lucky guy, but I could see that he was super serious, and he had this look of concern in his eyes. And as he was kind of going, hey, man, your eyes, look at them, they're yellow. You've got probably jaundice, right? Because my liver had been shutting down essentially.
I was thinking that his eyes were a little jaundiced. I just thought it was the video. He's still got remnants of that now. I know I've seen it in loads of people. I had Hep C, but my eyes never got like that for some reason. But yeah, I've seen it in lots of people, and I kind of thought Looks a bit like Mikey Smith's eyes, but his are always red, and he says he doesn't smoke weed or drink that, so he's always got pink eye for some reason. I don't know, but yeah, I thought that about his eyes, but then I kind of reconsidered and thought it might be the video quality of it. No, so you kind of probably still got remnants of it, still healing.
My feet were all swollen, and he's like, dude, this is bad. Like, you gotta get to the hospital. And I could tell it's like
drinking gives you hepatitis B. Hepatitis B, drinking for your liver.
Held off, and then he finally goes, you know what? And this is where he got a little bit stern, which I had never heard him do this. He goes, it is not your time. He goes, I see an angel right there. He points over my shoulder. There's an angel right there, points over the other shoulder, and an angel right there, like right above me. And with no sliver of hope at all, something at that moment.
Not sure on that, if the other guy was actually seeing angels round about him, because that would mean he's constantly seeing visions. Demons, yeah, and I don't see anything wrong with seeing it. But Paul says in Scripture, he says about beware about what you do or say, and because you might be entertaining angels. So that suggests that we wouldn't know that they're angels. So this guy knowing that they're angels, I don't take that. I take that as against Scripture. But demons, yeah, certainly. Because angels would be doing their job for God, but not being recognized for it. As part of it's part of humility. Because any other angel was a fallen angel that had pride. So I wouldn't say that the guy was actually seeing angels.
And was just like a little voice was like, this is your last chance. Get to the hospital. And I did. He helped me up. We got out of there, and he got me to the hospital and then into a 90-day treatment. I stayed with him for a couple of weeks, and then he got me. It took us a while to find something, but he got me into a 90-day treatment up in Long Beach, which I was there for, basically it's like you're in jail, right? You're there co-ed, and it was like 100 people. Some people there just for like court order and things because they just want to get that done with. But there were some people that took it serious. And I took that time almost like it was God's way of positioning me there to really resonate with the people that were diagnosed with mental illness. There were people in there that were supposedly schizophrenic, people that were bipolar, dissociative personality disorder, whatever it was. And I somehow gravitated to
might not be Paul because I think it's Hebrews, so it might not be Paul. I might bet to myself because Hebrews, we don't know who wrote Hebrews. Let me just check. The verse you just said, well, paraphrased. Let me just check. Just to make sure it's the right one. Hold on, let me change it to New King James for easier reading. Right, so it's Hebrews. Right. So it's Hebrews. So I said Paul said it. It's possibility that it was Paul, but we don't know who wrote Hebrews, really. So I shouldn't have said Paul. But it's a possibility it was Paul. Some think it was James. People like that. I don't know. But that's one book we don't know who wrote. But yeah, it says, let brotherly love continue. Do not forget to entertain strangers, for by doing some have unwittingly entertained angels. So if you've unwittingly entertained angels, that means you did not know they were angels. So to be able to see angels, that's I'm a bit dubious on that one. Remember, the prisoners, as if chained with them, those who are mistreated, since you yourselves are the body also. Marriage is honorable among all, and the bed undefiled, but fornicators and adulterers God will judge. Let your conduct be without covetousness. Be content with such things as you have, for he himself has said, I will never leave nor forsake you. So we may boldly say, the Lord is my helper, I will not fear. What can man do to me? Nothing. He can send you to be with your creator, but that's the worst he can do. It's the worst he can do is kill you. What has he got to do after that? You're where you want to be once you're killed. So there you go. Whatever. But yeah, it's just to kind of back up my point about angels. Some have unwittingly entertained angels. I thought Paul said it. I thought Paul said it for some reason, but it's in Hebrews. It's something that Paul would say. Does it say it in any other scripture? Let me see. So it's not Paul. Sorry, it's not Paul. Well, it could be Paul, but I don't know for sure. Nobody knows who wrote Hebrews for sure. There's obviously guesses, estimates, and surmises, I suppose. But yeah, so to me, he wouldn't know there were angels.
To those people, because I knew what had been going on with me, and I knew it wasn't normal, and I also knew that I wasn't crazy. I may have been acting a little crazy and experiencing things that would be crazy, but I wasn't crazy, and I knew that deep down. So I'd have these in-depth conversations with these people, and I started realizing real quick that a lot of them would have the same stories, the same dark entities they would explain. Some of them had already committed suicide and survived it, like literally had like a near-death experience. And I would ask them, hey, I'd ask them about the near-death experience, about afterwards, and they would share that with me, but also beforehand, like what was going on before that. Some of them, I remember one guy in particular, one of my buddies, he ended up trying to take his own life with a 45, like right underneath his chin. He survived it. It literally went right between his two hemispheres. He said that before he had attempted to take
In these two hemispheres, it's his brain. Between one side of his brain and his other side of his brain. We don't like the word sphere here.
his own life, that there were dark shadows like cruising around in his home, around his TV, peeking around at him. And he said that had been going on for weeks. And you could say, well, that's just some sort of drug-induced psychosis.
Could be.
Okay, whatever it is, it was real to him. And he thought that the only way out was to end his own.
Even drug-induced psychosis, which is all your mind and stuff because of drugs and stuff, demons can still get involved through it. Certainly can. It can be both.
Own life. And so I saw that.
Anybody knows that's been on drugs and addicted to them that demons are real, man.
Over and over again. And that's where I was like, you know what? I'm here for a reason. And I'm here to have these interactions with these people so that I can start at least making aware to people that, hey, this isn't crazy talk. Like there is spiritual forces at work. Spiritual warfare is real. But even at that time, I still didn't really understand like spiritual authority in the name of Jesus and things like that. I was just kind of nitpicking at the Bible at that time, trying to figure things out.
You mentioned something about, psychosis or drug psychosis, right? And I'm thinking there might be
Drug-induced psychosis.
some people watching that in an attempt to rationalize everything you're saying would say, well, it's because you were drinking. Because during a lot of the times that we talked about, there was heavy drinking. You go to this rehab for 90 days, you come out, I assume, sober. Did the experiences of the UFOs and the darkness and whatever was going on in your house, did that stop once you became sober?
It did for almost 18 months. And I had, by the way, I had gotten out of the other apartment that was having the paranormal activity. I couldn't stand that place. So I was in this new place, which is where I tried to take myself out with the vodka. But no, it left me alone. And maybe it was
by vodka and beverage. It happens though. People get alcohol poisoning. People just deteriorate themselves with drink. It happens.
because the drinking itself that I was doing, trying to mask it while it was attacking me, maybe that was a gateway. Maybe that was like a legal right to me while I was drinking. So once I'm done drinking
Certainly was.
and clean, I don't get any visitations.
I wouldn't say legal right, not spiritually, definitely not. But still left you open. You're not legally Satan's. You can willingly be with Satan, but you're not legally Satan.
For a while. Went about 18 months, and I'm Uber driving at this point because I literally didn't have anything left. I had my vehicle left. That's how damaging this was. I wasn't like a wealthy person, but I had everything I wanted and more from a material standpoint. And I remember this one specific date. Remember, this is like 18 months after I had gotten out of treatment, had been sober. I picked up this woman, and it was still dark out. It was that early in the morning, and I picked her up from work, dropped her off at home up in the foothills, And at that moment, in the first time in like 18 months, that feeling came on, and I can't describe it. I don't know how to describe the feeling itself, but that presence came on where I'm like, oh no, like I know what that is. And I remember looking up, and I was parked in this I pulled over into this industrial parking lot that was close to this woman's house.
It's got to be demonic if he's getting that kind of feeling, if they're appearing and that. It's got to be a spiritual thing.
And as I looked up, I'm like, man, this is exactly where I've experienced a lot of these orbs in the past, especially over the last apartment that I was in, where I was going through the whole vodka deal. I had a balcony that overlooked these mountains where I would get that sensation.
But because the wrong spirit, you don't want the ethanol spirit, you want the Holy Spirit.
And that calling, and I would go out there and I had some crazy footage on that where, I mean, I'm talking orbs that are huge, that are materializing above the mountains, dematerializing, doing strange stuff, and I knew they would be there. And so as soon as I look up, of course, boom, this orb materializes, and I'm like, here we go again. I'm like, this isn't going away. And so I tried to white knuckle it for like a week. I white knuckled it, but I could feel almost right away. And I don't think this was a head thing. I don't think this is an illusion or in my mind. I tried to just forget it. I was like, I'm good. That thing can't bug me anymore. You know, I'm just going to do my thing. And I tried to fight that week. The depression started coming on, the darkness, and once again, in my bones. And I knew something was off. And I started getting more and more down and discouraged because I'm like, this thing is never going to leave me alone. I'm praying to God at this point. Like, God, tell me.
No, that's depression. You know, oppression leads to depression, doesn't it? And what the demons do, they oppress you, and that's what it's feeling, oppression.
Me how to end this, or I am going to end it. I don't know how to end it. And then it's like victim mode, like why is this happening? Why would you do this to my family? Why would you do this to my life? And I'm angry at this point. But at the end of that week, I'm so down that I pull in, I remember, to the grocery store parking lot. And remember, I'm literally living out of my car at this point. That's all I have left. It is here to steal, kill, and destroy. And it did it in that order to me. Still didn't really know what was going on, though.
Absolutely right. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. It's exactly what he comes to do. And he carries it out sometimes. But his ultimate goal will never be victorious. Train fails.
Still didn't really know if there was a form of the devil or dark forces. I had a very good suspicion, especially after the things about the stories of the demons and things I was hearing in treatment, but I still wasn't convinced. I just didn't have the context of it's UFOs. It looks like spacecraft. What does that have to do with the Bible? So I remember I'm sitting there looking at like my bank account, and I'm just drained. I'm once again victim mode. I'm praying to God, like, I'm doing everything I can. I don't know what else to do. I'm running on fumes. And I just leave it at that, go inside. And I know that going into the store in that state of mind, because I know in the back of my head, I'm like, I might as well just start drinking again because this isn't going away. I got to find a way to end this, or at least make this feeling go away temporarily. And of course, I'm totally ashamed of myself at that point.
I remember what somebody saying to me once in rehab. It was what somebody had done the program already. The one that Derek's just gone into Teen Channel. I remember him saying, if I didn't have Christ, I might as well just drink myself to death. Like, yes, so much in that. But yeah, I got his sentiment. I didn't get on with him, like, I got his sentiment. But I wouldn't say things like that. I mean, it's not a good thought.
You tell yourself, I'll never do this again. I'll never drink. So I get into the store. I bolt to get some water. On the way out, I see there's like there's boxes of wine right behind me. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to grab them, throw them in. So total meltdown. Get out to the car. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to go park and find a place where I'm not going to be driving around. I'll just park on one of these side streets that's legal, and I'll take down these boxes of wine and pass out and see what happens. Because I know something most likely is going to happen after this. There's going to be more visitations or more forces trying to come through. All this sounds totally crazy to me, even talking about it now, by the way. But this is what would happen. So I put the seats down the back. I pass out in the back, and I wake up, and it's daytime. I don't know how long I've been in there. It wasn't that much wine. I mean, 4 boxes of little tiny wine things. I hadn't drank in a while, but it's nothing that's going to like put me over the edge, not to the point where I would be like hallucinating or something. But I'm super dehydrated. I don't know how long I've been in there, but this is the really where the
I've never known alcohol to make anybody hallucinate. Withdrawals from alcohol, yes, but not on alcohol. I don't know. Maybe some people do.
crazy stuff happens is I remember I perched myself up to get into the driver's seat to check my phone. But my phone, I look at it, is completely dead. It's plugged in, but it's dead. I'm like thinking, no big deal. Fine, I'll just start up the car and charge the phone. I go to fire up the Tesla by just clicking on the brake, and that ignites the screen, right? If you've ever been in a Tesla, nothing. Which means at least the 12 volts down, if not the full battery. I'm like, this isn't good. Like, my phone is now plugged in and it's not charging. Nothing's engaging on the brake, or as far as the power goes. I'm thinking, how is this even possible? You always have a backup on the 12. Well, the next thing I do is the windows are cracked on each side by about a 1/4 inch so I could have air. And I reach over to open the door and I hit the electric latch to open it. That's the way you open up these vehicles. I hit the electric latch. Nothing. There's no power. 12 volts out. Now I'm kind of like, what do I do now? Like, there's got to be an emergency latch.
So he's stuck in the car and it's not. Oh, that's dangerous, man. I tell you what, these new blooming electric cars and burning down these blooming junkyards and all that, so you can't get parts for your old cars. They're trying to get you into these cars that they can control themselves. Nuts.
So I'm kind of going into a panic mode, and this will sound kind of stupid, except for since this, people have sent me numerous articles where if you don't know how to get out of this car manually, it's almost virtually impossible to find. I was searching for the owner's manual so I could find, well, there's got to be a latch like under the seats or in the back, but the glove box is electric too. That's not working. My phone, I can't look up how to open it. So now I'm starting to really freak out. I'm locked in the car. It's getting a little bit.
I always smash the windows out. Yeah, I'm smashing them, booting them through and everything if I can't.
Warm. I can tell I'm super dehydrated. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to start trying to wiggle on the window, see if I can bust it open. I'm pounding on it a little bit with my elbow. I start punching at it. That's not going to do anything. So then I go to yell. So I'm like, well, I'm on the side street, but if somebody can hear me, they're going to think I'm crazy. So I'm going to have to, say, hey, I'm not crazy. I'm trapped in the car, whatever. I go to yell out of the car. Nothing. My voice is virtually gone. I don't know why my voice is gone. I mean, just dehydration. Didn't make sense to me. So I'm locked in this vehicle with apparently no way that I can find out. And at that moment, I just go, I go black, where I'm just like, I'm out again. Like I just kind of passed out. And I debated telling this story on the first time I shared this was the last podcast I did. This is the only second time I've shared this story. I debated sharing it, but there were so many people in the comments that have had experiences like this that I didn't feel so bad sharing this, like I was going to come across as making up some crazy story, because this was more real than real. And what happened at that point is everything seemed to like fade to black, but then it was almost an entering into a different type of dimensional state that was very crystal clear. And it was almost digitized. That's what it felt like, kind of going back to that hologram experience that I had in the hotel room after the push-ups. That's what it seemed like more of a digital type interface that I was with. And this circle shows up, and looks like a kind of a, I'll just get kind of in the details, see how weird it was. It was like a Japanese sumo wrestler that morphed into like a red dragon, and then it would spin in circles, but there was a definitive beat, like almost a techno beat that was coming from it. And I felt like it was trying to get my attention. And I remember thinking, don't give it attention. Stay away from it. You got to try to get out of this. I don't know how to separate out from this new little reality that I'm in right here. And so I end up kind of getting fixated on it unconsciously. And then I don't know if you've been to like the optometrist when they do what's called the autofractor machine, where you click the button every time a dot shows up when, the doctor's like, okay, every time a dot shows up, click your thumb. That's what this was like. It's like these dots would show up and it's like I would feel compelled to look at them. And they almost reminded me at the time, this was going through my head. I'm like, this kind of reminds me of like when I would see these orbs, like the kind of same thing. I'm looking up in the sky. So I'm kind of fixated on these things. And at that moment, this is where I'm convinced now that there's a form of the devil or some form of a dark entity that has been on me for who knows how long. Because over the top of my right shoulder, I remember this super deep, loud, like, hey, comes over the top. And I'm like, oh my God, that doesn't sound good. But I'm hoping maybe that's just somebody like outside the car, like that's going to help. And I look back and of course, nothing. I'm looking over to my left. There's nothing. There's no people walking down the street. I'm not seeing even any traffic going by. And
Could be a demon shout. I had the demon shout to me. I was shouting out to God, but I had the demon tell me that I was too late to go and jump, and it was awful. So it could be that.
that's when I'm like, oh my God, this is not good. And at that point, I had a flashback where the flashback came actually, let me back up. When that hay came through, it was now you're going to create with me. It was something to that effect. You're mine, and now you're going to create with me because this is all mine. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
And you're not creating anything because it's already God's creation. So you can only make up a God's creation. You can't create it. He already created it.
And then a flashback starts coming in, or flashbacks into my head. And I think this is where God was coming in, because remember, I'd been asking God how to end this. And I had these flashbacks of things that I hadn't thought about.
Hey, Roger, how you doing, man? Good. Oh, shit. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you.
Out in 20 years, at least. And the first one was, I remember when I was working in finance, I worked on the phones, and so we'd be placing trades. We'd be real busy. We all had our own little cubicles. And I remember a guy that he was an acquaintance. I knew him by name, but I didn't really know him except for the workplace. I remember he came over the top of my cubicle. This is the flashback I'm having, and it's very vivid. This is out of nowhere as I'm going through this experience. And he's like, hey, Jason, have you considered Jesus as your Lord and Savior? And this was an actual.
Okay, but and he said something about creating me. I mean, God wouldn't say to him, create me, because God's already created. So, yeah, maybe it was demon, then God came in. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. Holy Spirit convicting.
Event that happened, and I was like, I totally forgot about it. And I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, either this guy's going straight in for the kill or he's joking, right? And I'm like, Bill, dude, I'm trying to place a trade here, so I kind of ignore him, but he kind of stomps off, and that little vision ends. And then I get another vision where I'm on the phone with one of my buddies, and he's like asking me as I'm kind of going through it, like just point blank, like, Jason, have you accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior? And I remember telling him at the time, I'm like, and this was only a few years.
Most certainly could be the Holy Spirit bringing to recollection things. Absolutely. Praise Lord.
Earlier, I'm like, yeah, I've done that. Knowing deep down I hadn't. I was going through these experiences, and I was just trying to figure all that out. Didn't see any biblical relation, so I was having my doubts. And I realized at that point, like, this was God trying to tell me, I think, hey, I've given you some chances. I've given you opportunities in your life, and you've ignored them. And at that point,
He certainly does do that. He certainly does do that. And then you look back on times and you realize, oh, yeah, he was trying to show yourself there.
Kind of a form of anger and authority.
When you look back retrospectively, hindsight is 2020.
Almost like I was being lifted up, like there was some sort of a lifting in my spirit where I was now in authority. That's what I felt, almost powerful. And what came out of my mouth to me was not consciously my decision, because I laid into whatever was happening around.
Consciously, it would have to be your decision. God doesn't do anything against your will. He could if he wanted to, but he's not going to, because he gives you that will. So I would disagree with that, because he's saying consciously he didn't do that. He didn't want that, or accept that or allow that sort of thing. He would have had to if it was God coming through him or whatever.
On me with this voice and everything else. And I was like, I rebuke you in the name of
Probably just find it hard to explain it somehow. I don't know.
Jesus. I plead the blood of Jesus over my bloodline, my family, my circumstance. You no longer.
He would have had to do that consciously. He said consciously he didn't think he did this. He would have had to. It's your choice to believe. You know what I mean? It's your choice to accept. It's your choice to become. So I just think he's not describing it very well. Maybe.
Or have any control over me. And I mean, I am feeling really like this is it. I'm finally confronting this thing. And that whole little digital, what kind of matrix type reality that I was in at that moment just kind of faded out. Boom, done. And I did leave something out. I do remember as I was rebuking that out, that voice that was over my shoulder, it came back. And it was almost like I got the sense, and
Come on, it was definitely.
Believe this is exactly what it said. It was something to the effect of, if not exactly, are you mocking me? Like, are you mocking me and my creation? And I'm like, everything fades. And I'm thinking, well, I almost debated putting that part in because that sounds so stereotypical of maybe something the enemy would say. That's what I experienced. And so at that point, there's knocking on the side window. And I just hear, and I'm out. I'm still just kind of like unconscious. And I just see kind of blue out of the window there. And it's the Orange County firefighters. And I can hear him yelling. I can't even talk because I'm out. And he's like yelling, like I can hear him going, are you kidding me? You can't even open your own doors. Like I remember him saying that. And I was just kind of pointing like, dude, I've tried that. Like, good luck. And I think he saw me like, I'm out. So they finally, long story short, they end up getting through the window on the other side, getting a latch open, get me out. I end up in the hospital. And this is kind of where this whole fiasco ends, is as far as the experiences go. So I end up staying in the hospital for like 4 or 5 days because I ended up being in that car, by the way, because I got police reports. I had no idea how long I'd been in there. I had no food and water. 6 days. And that was off of phone records. Nobody had heard from me. And from when they actually got into the car, 6 days, which is pretty tough to survive in general. So another miracle. I tell that story to people like very rarely.
Oh, 6 days in the car. Shit. Wow. Especially like, I think the windows were open a little tiny bit, he said, didn't he? That still would have been excruciating, man.
A lot of people are like, dude, that's not
mashed up in alcohol and everything, and man, that'd be awful.
Possible. You can't survive that long. Happen.
There you go, but got intervened by the looks of it.
So I'm in the hospital, and they're telling me the sodium levels and everything are through the roof. So I'm sitting there pounding water. So they're keeping me so that they can basically monitor me. And as I'm drinking the water, so remember the nurse comes to visit me, and I'm like, hey, can I get another water? I'm just taking these 32 ounces ice water down like crazy. And as she goes to fetch the water, you have to remember, I'm seeing double, because I would look up at the clock in the hospital room, and I wouldn't even be able to tell the time. I would just see 2 clocks. I think I was so out of it and dehydrated, I had double vision. But I could see that there was this woman walking towards me, and doesn't look like a nurse though. I just see like all white. And as she gets closer, it's blurry, but I can see it's like shoulder length, like white hair. But it really, like, I got a really peaceful presence as she approached. And as she came up, I noticed, okay, this is like a lady maybe in her 70s or something. And she calls me by name. She's like, Jason, you've been through so much. Would you mind if I pray for you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm like, I need all the prayer I can get. So I put my hand out. And I remember as she touched my fingers, it was like tingling, almost like electric, like a tingling sensation. And the peace that came over me was almost as good as
You got chills. They were multiplying.
Peace that I had felt, that first experience that I had at the beach with that light. But she started praying over me, and she was saying things like she knew what I had been through. She's like, this man has been through so much, Lord. Heal him so that he can serve his purpose and get back to his family. And she kept going on. And I remember just like closing my eyes, like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need prayer for. And so she gets done and she kind of just walks out of the room. The nurse comes back in, like almost immediately. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You have people coming around and praying for patients in the hospital. And she just looks at me and she's like, no, not today. She's like, they might come around later this week or something, but there's nobody here today. And at that point, I'm just like, nothing surprises me, which was beautiful because you saw, like, I knew God was there the whole time, but I didn't, you could feel that unseen fight for your soul. Sorry, but I didn't realize that he had my back that whole time, which was crazy. So I've never cried about this. It's crazy.
Well, thank you for telling the story, and I do believe that it'll speak to some people. I need
I'll be on mute for a second, guys. I'm just going to make a joint.
to ask you though, like, this thing about Jesus was new for you. At least that's what it seems like in the way that you're telling it. You definitely weren't religious before, not even a little bit from what I can understand. So when that lady came to you, these flashbacks came to you, what did you make of it?
When the flashbacks came to me during the car incident,
When all this information about Jesus was kind of being revealed to you, like, how did you take that?
oh, well, first of all, I'm like, well, this is the only thing that ended this experience. It tried coming back a couple times after this, but I would just know the feeling and I could get rid of it right away. I would get that feeling and it didn't even bother me. I'm like, you're not bugging me, and I'd rebuke it away in the name of Jesus. It's gone. I haven't had any of those experiences or even that feeling in, gosh, I don't know, 2 years now, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Doesn't matter. I now know the authority over it. But then I started actually really digging in. And I think once this was all settled, I started asking God one night, I don't know what all this was for, except for the fact that I obviously was able to find you. That's the most important thing. But if there's nothing I can do with this, I'm just going to drop it. I'm not going to tell this story. It doesn't.
Hey, Ryan, Cookie Monster, how you doing, bro? Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Do me any good to have all this video footage. It's like, I don't know. I guess I'll never know. And I wasn't really even frustrated at that point. I was just like, I'm just going to drop it. If there's something I can do with it, though, let me know. That was kind of my prayer. If there's something I can do with it to help other people that are doing this, let me know. This is like 10:30 at night, and this is in the summer of 2024. So this has been not even a year after this whole debacle in the car and things. And so 10:30 at night, and I get a text right away, right as soon as I'm done with that prayer. And I take a look, and it's my buddy. He happens to have a podcast too, and it just says, "Hey, would you mind sending me some of your UFO footage? I want to put it on my podcast and talk about it." And I'm thinking, yeah, well, you can put it on the podcast. I'm not going to, talk about it, whatever. So I said, yeah, sure, go for it. So at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't even want to deal with this, but I'll just go through and I'll see what I can find for him. And I was so used to weird at this point. I literally close my eyes and I just start going through my photos and I'm just kind of scrolling. And I end up, the first one I hit on, the first video, because I had hundreds of these orbs and things like that, and a few craft here and there. First one I land on is just like, it looks like just dark night sky. So there's nothing to get out of it. And I'm thinking, okay, I just need to delete that one. But I click on the one right next to it. And I know where I'm at because I know the date and I know that I was staying on my boat at that time. There was a period of about 3 months where I just lived on my boat down at the harbor. And this was the spring of 2000.
You think that was hard times? Yeah. Different hard times for me. I'm not joking. It can be, I suppose, but I'd love to live in a boat in a minute.
2019 of when these went on the videos I'm on. So this is summer of 2024 after this prayer, and I'm checking out my phone. The video I'm on is from spring of 2019. And I click on it, and when it pulls up, it's like, it didn't surprise me because I knew that all the things I've been going through, but that's the one that I'd sent over to you. It's essentially what appears to be, it's totally silent. It takes up the whole screen of the phone. So it can't be more than about 100 yards away, I'm estimating. But it looks like a dome formation that, and then the rest of the craft goes outside, but it's just streaming white lights going back and forth, just like you'd see out of a movie, kind of just streaming on the side of the UFO, whatever you want to call it, the craft. And I'm commentating in that video. It's 40 seconds long to a T. And I'm commentating, you hear me say verbatim, that is unbelievable. I cannot see that on my phone. So apparently I can see it with my naked eye, but I'm not seeing it on the recording on my phone. And then towards the end of the video, it just kind of goes silent. And as you get towards the end, this is kind of out of character for me. Why I thought this was almost kind of humorous, I guess a little bit sketchy at the same time, is you just hear me go, Jiminy Christmas, really? And then the video just goes off. Now, the kicker is I don't remember taking that video. And this would happen where I would go through these things and I would have these like what I called sober blackouts, because it's all you could explain. It's like I'm not under the influence of anything and I'm blacking out. I've experienced that missing time. I'm blacking out, and especially after I'm having these sightings, you start feeling like a werewolf, like this isn't cool. Like how am I supposed to be in control of myself? And what if I'm a danger to other people? I mean, you don't know. Am I going to disappear? Am I going to vanish? And so all these things are running through your head. And I'm just like, all right. So I send it over to a couple buddies right away that knew and totally believed everything.
It's a disturbing thought, though. Like, experiencing periods of time you don't recollect. It's got to be scary. Like you said, thinking those things, I might just go disappear.
I was going through. And of course they're like, oh man, aliens, bro, that's got to be aliens. And so they're kind of doing the whole, back and forth with that. And
demons, got to be demons, bro, not aliens. They were wrong. But yeah, he knows it now. He knows this now.
So no, but this led me to, so that was the first thing, that was the first catalyst as to why I tell this story, because I have the evidence that's undeniable, and I'm finding out that I literally am like blacking out and not remembering these encounters. Do you have any questions there? Because I'll go into what I experienced in church right after that, and that kind of wraps up like the second catalyst as to, okay, I'm going to run with this story.
Yeah, well, please explain that.
So it's maybe 2 months later. I'm still kind of going back and forth. Like, it's already documented. I've taken all these videos. I know the story inside and out of what's been happening to me. How do I articulate it? Do I write this? And I'm like, well, maybe I should start writing a book on it. I'm like, no. And then there's this little voice going, no, people are going to think you're crazy. You probably shouldn't bring it up because you're going to stir up people that don't believe you, and you may suck them in, and you're going to look like, the family member that, whatever. All these things are going in my head that are saying, don't do this. So 2 months later, I get another sign from what I look at from God, which is a buddy texts me on a Sunday morning, and he didn't text me that often. And he's like, hey, are you going to church today? I'm like, no, I'm still working, trying to catch up. And he goes, well, you should really come today. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's a sign. Maybe I should drop work and get into church today. So I text him back. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be like 20 minutes late. And he's like, no problem. He's like, I'll look for you. So I show up.
Exactly, Ryan. Exactly. He knows that now. Obviously. But at one point, you would have thought it was. But no, he knows that now.
To church, fairly large church that I go to. And I've gone to a few different ones, but this particular one, fairly large church. And I walk up, there's just a greeter left, and I walk in, it's standing room only. So I just kind of sit in the back, try not to interrupt anybody trying to get a seat or anything. So I notice as I look up at the stage that there's what appears to be a guest speaker up there, because usually would have the same 2 or 3 pastors. And I recognize that somebody different's up there. And I walk in literally at the moment that this guy, who happens to be a pastor from another church that came in to speak, as he's telling a story about how him and his wife being heads.
That's because it's demonic. Ryan, that's because it's demonic. You've got authority over them in Jesus' name, bro. You've got authority over them to not let them scare you.
At a church, he says, like, I'll paraphrase it, but basically he's saying, when you're a leader in the church, you kind of have to be careful. Some people ask you out to dinner and stuff like that. He's kind of joking around about it. Like, yeah, you never know what you're going to get. So he goes, but we accept the dinner invitation from this, what seems like a nice couple. So he goes, so we go out to dinner with them, and he's like, it was a great dinner and everything was great. But we decided that we'll go out on another dinner date with him a few weeks later. And then he proceeds to say that, well, on this second date, though, things didn't go so smooth. And he's like, I'm sitting there across from this man and his wife. And he says about halfway through dinner, this man is telling the pastor that he thinks his wife is having some mental health issues and that she thinks she's being visited by aliens. And the whole church erupts in laughter, right?
Most people's wives are having mental bloody health issues. I'm only joking, but I'm not. No.
Surprise, surprise. And I'm sitting there and I'm not angry. I'm like, well, what immediately went off in my head was like, this is exactly why I was supposed to be here. Like, I get to see the reaction of what people are, how they're reacting to somebody that's probably.
It's not mental health issues, it's just mental health issues. You know what I mean?
Experiencing some form of what I'm experiencing, right? Probably just some normal lady that's going to end up getting medicated, you know, with psych meds or whatever. I wish I could talk to her. That's all I'm thinking is I wish I could talk to that poor lady. But I'm watching people kind of, it almost seemed like it was slow motion. I'm watching these interactions where I'm seeing people kind of turn to each other and they're kind of laughing and nudging like, ha, 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 you know. And at that moment, I'm like, thank you, God. This is exactly why I was here. You're trying to show me like, this is what the awareness. It's not a bash on the church. It's awareness. And we don't do a good enough job of it because people experience these things. It's real. But you're thrown away as a wingnut whack job.
Yeah, Harry Martin's still a new one. At least I could play out with a new Harry Martin instead of an older one.
Think so as much now these days. This was only a year ago. And so I think there's a lot more to, you know, we put a lot of things in a box, even in the church. And when we start putting things in a box, yeah, you know, the church can be the enemy's biggest playground as far as hiding and deceiving as well. So anyways, that's why I decided to.
Yeah, true. Very true. If you're talking about churches in the building and not just the body of Christ, as in the people of Christ, then yes, absolutely, it's the devil's playground.
At that moment, I'm like, okay, I'm running with the story. This can help people.
Yeah, well, thank you. And you definitely won't get that reaction here because I've heard a lot of these things. And I know you're not crazy. So I'm glad that you talk about it because the more awareness there is, the more people like that.
Yeah, I don't think he's crazy. I think he's telling the truth. He found a few things hard to kind of explain, but I don't think he's crazy. I think he's telling the truth about what he experienced. But like he says, they're not aliens. It was demonic stuff going on.
That lady will be able to get help. So I appreciate it. I wonder, we talked about a lot of symptoms that started after your first encounter, automatic writing being one of them.
When I said automatic writing, I was just describing what I thought it was. I thought he was actually doing these things, but it was, you know, it was like different from just writing down words and not realizing, not looking and all that. He was watching what he was doing, but the thoughts weren't of him. He doesn't think they were coming from him. So I suppose it is a type of automatic writing. And I kind of described that before he said it.
After that lady in the hospital prayed for you and you started like turning your life towards Jesus, did these things ever come back?
No, like I was saying, the feeling came back for, I want to say 6 months after that feeling came back, like I was supposed to look in the sky, right? And when I looked, sure enough, you know, it would always be like some sort of an orb or something materialized trying to get your attention. This particular one was during the day, and it was weird because it was like super bright green. And that's right, I just rebuke it in the name of Jesus. It's gone. I think the fact that there's no fear, there's no uncertainty, and it knows that, like, I'll go into prayer throughout the day. I do protection prayer too, and it's not in a fearful way. Like I'll pray over my family, I'll pray over myself in the mornings, for the protection through the blood of Jesus, go into prayer. I don't focus on that stuff anymore, but I understand now the authority that we have in the name of Jesus. And I never understood.
In the name of Jesus, absolutely. You do have authority over this crap.
Good. I never knew any of that stuff. I was just, you know, ignorant. And I tell people all the time, it's like, hey, ignorance is not necessarily bliss. Ignorance was very dangerous in my situation.
Very dangerous ignorance, especially willful ignorance. People knowing, you know what I mean? Because they're in cognitive dissonance about it. People know. And we know that. We experience the cognitive dissonance with people all the time, especially being flat earthers.
And so, you know, when I started looking like in the book of Philippians.
Finding Christ. Finding Christ.
where it's like every knee of creation will bow in the heavens, on earth, and below the earth in the name of Jesus. I've had so many opportunities to tell people, whether they're believers or not. Like, I've had a few buddies that they're still on the fence, man, but they know my story, and they're like, dude, that's pretty crazy because I knew what you were going through, and they'll come to me with maybe some depression or whatever, and I'm like, hey, rebuke it in the name of Jesus and move on. Let's start getting positive. Don't focus on it. And sure enough, a couple days later, we'll be talking. They're like, hey, man, that helped. I'm lightened up again. I'm lightened up. So this depression and everything, it's by design. Depression is going to be a diagnosis, so you go on a pharmaceutical. That's just by design. That's a no-brainer these days.
Yeah, I mean, there is demonic depression because of oppression, through demonic oppression, but there is clinical depression, not happiness.
That's been part of the structure since day one, because making a ton of money off of that by zombieing people out. I'm not saying that some people don't need.
It's dangerous just to tell people that all depression is spiritual. Even though there is spiritual depression without a doubt, because there is some people that have chemical imbalance in the brain, so to speak, serotonin kind of problems that are clinically depressed. There is that thing.
Need medication, but I can tell you based on, and I'll try not to get too passionate about it, but when I was in treatment, I worked in treatment after this, and what I would see is people would come in, and I would literally witness, because I'd just do like the get them settled in, get the detox and everything done. But I would take them to their Zoom call with their doctor, their therapist. They would come out within 45 minutes. I'd had a total normal conversation with this person, even if they were a little bit lit up on something because they were just getting to the house and getting ready to detox. This person wasn't crazy. I'm having a total fine conversation with them. They come out of that Zoom call all depressed, and I talk to them a couple days later after they get some rest. I'm like, how'd everything go with the doctor? Well, they say I'm schizophrenic. They say I'm bipolar. They say I'm this. And now they've got all these meds lined up. Really? Like in a 45-minute diagnosis?
I mean, that's true too. I mean, people will go there with one thing and the doctor will tell them they've got many things wrong with them. Yeah, that's true too. So it works the opposite way around also. Is that right? We saw one that had a searchlight. One of the US hit it with a pen laser. One of us One of us hit it with a pen laser and the lights went off. It moved a mile or two and stopped over and over the time. Then a spotlight light came on. I've seen a few videos lately. Whether they're real or not, I don't know yet because I haven't really looked too much into them. But it looks like there's a laser pen coming out from the clouds towards us. You know, that kind of look. Don't know if it's real yet because with AI and all that kind of crap. Say again? Yeah. That gold thing there's got the password in it, and that gold thing under the Bible.
This person is all of a sudden for me it was a crushing label to have to live with something like a diagnosis like that. So I'm very bold about that, but I won't apologize for that part of it. I think we have a lot of work to do in the mental health system on how we diagnose people, especially not taking into consideration the spiritual things that we don't understand.
Yeah, well, when you don't believe that there is such a thing as the spiritual world, you're going to misdiagnose anything that is spiritual as something else. So
exactly.
It's very natural for that to happen, and it happens a lot, unfortunately.
It does.
I do want to.
And a lot of people get it mixed up for aliens, like the deception's meant to be. So they love it, sitting playing games.
Wrap things up for now by asking you a couple questions. There's obviously a lot of things that are strange. There's a lot of things that we can't really know for sure, right, in your story, and probably still to this day, a lot of these things you don't really know at all what it was. But can you maybe share that? Like, what are some of the things that you're convinced about from?
See, that's kind of what I just described, Ryan. I've seen videos doing that, like a laser pen coming from the sky towards us. But like I say, I don't know if they're real yet. But if you're experiencing that, I dare say it's happening, but it could be them testing shit. You know what it's like. It might not be spiritual. It could be spiritual, but it also could be them testing crap. You know, blue beam, all those kind of things. I'm not saying blue beam necessarily, but things like blue beam and the such. Drones doing it, all that kind of thing. But yeah, and it could be spiritual. It could be either or. It could be both. I literally ran in the house and had a panic attack. I get you, bro. I understand that, man. But remember, if it's spiritual, you've got authority in Jesus' name.
This entire thing.
I'm thoroughly convinced that it's nefarious and diabolical by nature. Maybe there's good forms
Of hell and of
the
hell.
UFO phenomenon. I don't claim to know everything. I do know my particular situation, it was nefarious. The other thing is, it doesn't start that way. It starts very peaceful. Didn't even start with craft, right? Start with an orb and then evolved into that. And my take on it personally is, it's almost like Eve eating from the apple, to know good and evil. Maybe we're not necessarily supposed to know all of this stuff, but it was something that tried to convince me over time, very slick, very slick and intelligent, kind of groom me into, I guess, a philosophy in life at some point that, well, as long as you're thinking a certain way and maintaining a high upbeat vibration and frequency, that came up a lot, that you'll be able to attract whatever you want in life. So it's almost like you become a form of not doing God's will, but doing your will to maybe manifest. I know some of it worked, because there were times where I was like, this is cool. Like I'm getting these messages. I am starting to be more positive. And
That's a possibility too, though, bro. It's a possibility too. Like say you've got authority if it's spiritual.
there's like things manifesting, like literally things happening around me, which I think were little gifts. The other thing, and I'm sure of from my experience, is I think that they do give you gifts. I think that you'll get gifts that are temporary. And for me, it was.
Hey, Roger. Hey, Roger, what you saying, man?
Saying nothing right now, but I can say a few things if you want me to.
Yes, if you want. Just you come in 3 minutes at the end. But how you doing? You good?
I'm good. I didn't know it was quite the end, man.
Yeah, I've been on three and a half. Well, nearly 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Oh man,
It's 3 minutes left. It was an hour and a half video we've just done. So I mean, there's 3 minutes left, and I'm playing out with Harry Matt.
Huh.
I'll be back on tomorrow though. I'll be back. Oh no, I won't. I'll be on tomorrow night, movie night. I'm working tomorrow on Saturday. So movie night will only be one movie rather than be one episode of Supernatural and one movie, because I'll be working the next day. But I'll still be on tomorrow night.
I'd have to found out a couple of things. The new platform is called EV Mux.
Yeah, I know.
The proper way to say. I was trying to say it Eve Mux.
I've saw Evmux. That's what I call. I've already done a stream on one on Evmux.
Yeah, I did one last night with Paul, and it worked out pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
He's got the paid version.
Yeah, because he sent me a photo of you saying 600. He's got 600 subscribers, and I says, yeah, I know. Harry. And Roger was on his way to that. Anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He pushed me over. He put a couple in and got a couple other people to do it, I think so.
Oh well. Tell him to do it with me as well then. Yeah,
Paul, get over here.
Evmux, just Ev. EV. That's it. No E in the middle there. Just Ev.
Yeah.
Mux, and it's an X. It's an X. Yeah, I did a stream on it. It's not bad. Have you got a paid version, or did you do the free one?
Well, it's really funny. I'm going to have to leave you too.
All right.
I come in and go. And I'll be
pissed off then. What you like? Pissed off? Don't ever talk dark on my doorstep again.
No, I gotta go watch the babies.
All right, bro. Nice one, dude. Bless you, man.
I'll see you in a bit. I'll be watching.
Bye.
Bless you, man.
It's an undisclosed trade, I think. And I don't know if that trade is a portion of your soul, your whole soul, whatever it is. But the psychic abilities I was getting, the gift of being able to do artwork for a short period of time, I think these are just little teasers like, hey, if you keep engaging with us, then these are these gifts you can have. And I don't think it should be a surprise, with everything going on being surfacing with the Epstein files and all of this, that there's a certain power you can gain from the dark side. And it's not just, it's not just from Star Wars. Like, Star Wars is more like a documentary now with this spiritual stuff. And in order to maintain that power, which I wasn't even looking for, I think you have to continue to interact with it, maybe rituals, whatever else. And that's becoming something that I think people don't want to admit, maybe in some cases, because it's scary to them. But I think at some point we're going to have to realize that this is the way things work. There's good and there's bad. But I also don't try to focus on the dark stuff. I focus on Christ, and I focus on what his will is for me and what his purpose is for me and how I can help other
That's
people.
the main thing. Focus on Christ. It's the main thing.
Through this. And man, I'm telling you, it's like all the material things in my life that were gone, I still have the best relationships, a better relationship I think that I would have ever had with my beautiful kids. Because I think that I was blessed with kids that knew that their dad was going through something. They still don't know this story, but they knew their dad was going through something, and they never bailed on me. They always just, I could get that sense even when they were younger. They were like 6, 7, and 11 and 12 years old when this stuff was going on, the hardcore stuff of it. And everything happens for a reason, right? All good in the end.
I believe that to be true. You talked about gifts, and I believe that that also is true, but at what cost, right? And you weren't trying to get these gifts, but everything points to that trying to take your life. Like even the thing in the car, all of that happening, like you almost died. You probably should have died. So
that wasn't a gift. I mean, that was kind of demonic, and then God intervened. So I wouldn't have called that a gift. The gift of salvation from God, that, yeah, but not a gift, a personal gift from God that you use. Not in that kind of context, anyway.
that's the inevitable thing that I find. But when it comes to your conclusions, what would it be? If there's one message you would want to give to the people watching, what would you end it with?
I would end it with, like I said earlier, ignorance isn't bliss. It can be dangerous. And I think it's just a matter of,
Especially willful ignorance, I'll repeat it. Especially willful ignorance. Because you're just choosing to ignore the truth when it's willful ignorance. You convince yourself. You know what I mean?
maybe swallowing your pride or your ego and
Right.
realizing there's so much that we don't understand in the
Pride's a
unseen
big thing with a lot of stuff spiritually. Pride's a big block on it.
realm. And if you're on the fence about this stuff, I've told a few of my friends that I think are starting to realize after what they saw me go through that they've started reading the Bible, and I'll tell them, hey, go to Ephesians 6:12. Just read that and kind of see what's going on in the world. Just read that.
Ephesians 6, so I'll get it up. It's for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, and rulers of this nation. Something like that. Let's get it. Let's see if I was right. Ephesians. And that's Ephesians. Oh, that's already subheaded for me. Right. Let's do it. So, yeah, I thought so. I thought so. We say it all the time, don't we? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness, not nations, sorry, of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. There it is. Right there. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's right. And that's true. But these powers, principalities, and rulers still use humans to do the dirty work. You know, they still do that. So yes, it's not the people that are doing it, even though sometimes they've got their own free will too. So sometimes they want to be used like that. But it does. The source is Satan, obviously. Obviously.
That passage and just think about it, whether or not you believe in the Bible or not. And it's just like, it's not people that we battle. We're battling the principalities of the darkness behind it. And when you get an outlook on life like that, it's a lot easier to go through life not judging people and seeing that maybe this person's being influenced by a force that they don't understand, and do what you can to love on them and not judge, as hard as it can be sometimes.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Almost False podcast. As promised, if you want to see the videos of Jason.
There it is. There it is, gadgets. So yeah, no, fair play. I mean, some of the testimonies that come off that channel, I mean, like I say, some of them I don't always believe. A lot of them I do, obviously, but some of them I'm skeptical about. But I just think that's a discernment issue with channel and that. But this one, yeah, I think he experienced that. I've got no reason to say other words, no reason. And he's come to Christ. He hasn't said anything against Scripture, that's contrary to Scripture. So fair play to him. But I'd never heard of him before, even though he's an ex-professional baseball player. I don't know if any of you guys had. Jason Ford was his name. Anyway, Harry Mark did a new. Oh no, he didn't. How come I seen a new one? That's a new one. He's not. Why is he not doing to his clips? He usually puts loads on his clips every day. And it's 3 days ago, and it was quite long. Okay, let's see what's in here. I'm not playing the whole 21 minutes though.
The IG comment section on a Flow State podcast clip. Look at that. The question is, what was your hardest freestyle? And when I first did it, I couldn't even do it that
freestyle.
When you first tried to do it, it's like we did in the MLB.
You gotta do a freestyle.
Like, hey, yo, it's Harry Matt. Recently on the podcast about like quickly, even on your worst day, dance on filler phrases.
No, he doesn't freestyle on that one. So yeah, let's find one. Let's go popular. Okay, there we go.
For 2 years.
Let's do.
For 2 years.
Studio ones are usually better. Let's do this one.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Not much. How are you?
Why do you got like the perfect narrating voice?
I don't know.
Stream?
I do stream sometimes. Yeah.
What you stream on Twitch?
Yeah. Sometimes Twitch. Sometimes.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I don't know why, but 3 were playing at once, and let's sort that out again. Right. I don't know why, but 3 of these songs came up at once for some reason. I must have clicked by mistake. Right. Popular. Right. Get this one.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey.
Bro,
Yo, can I do a freestyle for you guys?
the mic quality sounds so good.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Like, you're so clear.
That's the goal. That's the goal. So check this out. I need one creative, challenging word from each of you to use in my rap.
I got one. Microphone.
Okay, microphone. Yep.
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. All right.
This is gonna be a banger. Go.
I don't know what's up.
Come on, Robbie. Any word.
Mirror.
Mirror. You said.
Mirror. All right. Microphone, SoundCloud, and mirror. Those are the words. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's get it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. H-Mac in a whole different type of zone. I get busy when I'm rocking on the microphone. They cannot deny my choice. I use this tool to amplify my voice. They dig the way that I be wrecking hard. I plug my mic in with the XLR. Yeah, and y'all know these rappers just embarrass me. She was like, I love your mic. You got so much clarity. Yeah, thank you so much for the compliment. Taking over the game, I flow dominant. Get you higher than the weed. This right here is the energy we need. need. Trust me, it's really going down now. Y'all can listen to my music on my SoundCloud. Yeah, H-Mac, y'all know I'm insane. Coming down from the clouds, I be dropping rain. Freestyle obliteration. I reign supreme like precipitation. Matter of fact, each and every time I flow, I precipitate, but I'm so cold it comes out of snow. Yeah, Mac all up in it, I'm doing you proud. My sound lifting y'all up to the clouds. Y'all know I rep for Los Angeles. My sound get you high like a cloud of cannabis. H-Mac, I'm in it, y'all know what I do. Every time that I be rhyming, I be keeping it true. I said I need one word from each of you. And shouts out to y'all, cause you all came through. H-Mac, I'm up in it, I be causing a disaster. I'm not really a SoundCloud rapper. Then again, when I'm doing these lines, G, it's almost impossible to define me. Yeah, pushing it off at the top and making it clear. Yeah, every time I rap, blessing the ears. Hey, hella my lyrics sharp like a spear. Whenever I be rapping, I'm reflecting like a mirror. Yeah, y'all know I do it with passion. Other cats rapping gon' mirror my actions. Yeah, y'all know I've been creating. They mirror my moves, they an imitation. They know that I'm about to rock the mic clever. To the girl in the center and dude in white sweater. Anything I see enters my free. And when I'm rapping off top, they remembering me. Yeah, killing it when I be spilling it for my folks. Every time that around, I know that Mac is about to go for broke. I'll make you cover your mouth. I'm lifting out the hanger. Your friend on the side said it's about to be a banger. No doubt, yo, I'm hoping I deliver. Sharp like the arrows we be pulling out the quiver. And now she's like, hold up, he's got some more spit. Wait a second, here's my phone. I need to record this. Yeah, check the way I'm doing my thing. I shine and bling, something like your middle finger ring. H-Mac, I'm in it and I'm spitting the free. I want to thank all of y'all just for listening to me. It's H-Mac.
All right, Mark, for you, man. All right, Mark. I wish he was in the house like that. All right, Mark. We'll have to get him to do a freestyle somehow. Right. Anyway, bless guys. I'll be back tomorrow night. Movie night. It's working tomorrow afternoon, and it'll be one episode of a new Supernatural and one movie after the topic on YouTube because I'll be working the next day too. So I will see you tomorrow night. I might see some of you on flats beforehand, depending on what time I finish. Flats, just depending what time I'm back and all that. So yeah, but I'll definitely see you tomorrow night. Thanks for being here, gadgets. Love yous. Much respect, much love. Here the sunset's free. And there's nobody here, man. Indeed. See you tomorrow. Ta-ta.